live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me Terrible Troy.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined by the writer, the director, the star, Robert LaSardo of American Trash. It's very cool to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, first of all, I guess for people not aware yet, could you give them an idea of what American Trash is?
It's a social, political commentary, specifically in the geography of Los Angeles and how the city has fallen into ruin over the years. The ecological challenges that the city faces. Also, its subject deals with men who've served in the wars over the years, Afghanistan, Iraq, and dealing with PTSD. And in the midst of all this, there's kind of this love affair that tries to survive in a setting that I created that is very apathetic. So I wanted to explore the possibility of humanity surviving in a very tempestuous and not so I don't know, forgiving type of world.
So this is go on, sorry, Annabelle.
This is an incredibly powerful movie. It succeeds at everything that you've been talking about. I got into it before I reached out. I was going to cry. I had to pause. I mean, it was incredible to see this man and his experience of just trying to make it, just trying to keep going and seeing all of these things happening around him. And I can just, in my mind, think about, as a person who's a veteran, coming back and saying, what is this? What is going on around me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's your directorial debut. I don't know if it's the first script you wrote. Obviously, very personal to you. What was that whole experience like, from putting it down as script form and then actually making the movie?
Well, Neil, I sat in my car and I looked out at the ocean where I used to live, and I just started writing it on my phone. I didn't have a laptop or anything, so I just made some notes and then I just sent emails to myself. And then I found a man who helped me transcribe it into screenplay format. And I think what motivated me was a number of things. I remember sitting in the car, looking out at the window and looking at the ocean, how beautiful everything appeared to be. And then I watched some people come from the beach and get in their SUV, and they were, cleaning off the sand off their feet very meticulously. And then they threw the tissues and trash on the ground and didn't really consider, the environment or even picking up after themselves. And it just caught my attention. And then I thought, well, what would it be like if some, I don't know, young woman, and say a neo-hippie type, went up to the family and asked them politely to pick up their trash? And that's, I guess, what got me going. I mean, I've watched the city fall, Los Angeles, into ruin over the years. I've watched people fall too. And it's a far cry from California dreaming, the mamas and papas, and back in the 60s, this kind of combination of the utopian hippie experience phenomenon that suggested an awakening in the consciousness of the people, despite the right-wing politics and Nixon and, you know, some of the war going on in Vietnam and all that. It's a fascinating time. And I wanted to revisit in the 21st century, you know, 2025, I wanted to visit that phenomenon now to see if I could draw parallels. And I think I did see similarities, though there weren't any flower children running around when I made the film, you know, handing flowers out, and that's long gone. But I did see some evidence of this idea of helter skelter, the chaos that's still present now and back in the 60s with the war, Martin Luther King being assassinated, Kennedy being assassinated, Bobby Kennedy being assassinated, uh, Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin, all these revolutionary types that were noticing that there needed to be change, whether it was Baba Ramdas, Timothy Leary, whomever, that called to the young people of this to awaken to what was possible in a very, you know, beautiful yet frightening, uncertain time. I guess, you know, that spirit is, I feel, still there somewhere, and I just wanted to kind of resurrect aspects of it in the form of my own story and bring it, you know, into the present timeline.
I thought the opening, you know, when you have a lot of the Manson stuff and it, you know, talking Manson talking over like modern day chaos, that really works. And also to me, what I get out of that is kind of like, did all the chaos make Manson who he was, and sort of similar to your character? Is he a product of his environment?
I think it was important for me to utilize a controversial archetype like Charlie Manson uh, that represent extreme duality, because despite the perception of him through Vincent Bugliosi's book Helter Skelter and all the other people that got on the bandwagon to sell to the public a theory about him as the mastermind behind something, I think that there was other aspects of him that people didn't do much investigation on concerning his music, um, his environmental awareness, and what he did back, you know, before the Cielo Drive incident. I thought it would be uh, appropriate to have the the lead character Millis, who also deals with a similar duality, a man who served in the war, killed people, you know, uh, and at the same time finds love uh, unexpectedly and demonstrates sensitivity despite what he's experienced in the war, struggling with PTSD, and this kind of hermit-like disposition awakens to love in the most unforeseeable circumstance. And so I thought, what better than to have a narration that communicates environmental message in my story from a man that most people perceive a certain way, evil uh, and ominous, and then have a character that's also in his own way battling with an internal conflict that speaks to uh, also a very unpredictable, potentially violent disposition that's found a way to manifest equanimity in picking up trash, being, you know, cloistered away from the world, and then meets this young lady who helps him come back to life, so to speak. So, you know, he's carrying a similar duality, in my opinion. So I thought it was appropriate to utilize Charlie Manson's philosophy in juxtaposition to Millis, because to me, Millis is a similar phenomenon. He's got both this 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 he's got both the better angels of our nature, but he also has the proclivity to do something given the trigger circumstance that, you know, from a certain point of view would be considered horrible, terrifying, unconscionable. And yeah, and I think, you know, Manson clearly is also on a much grander scale has been perceived that way. But, you know, I did a lot of research on this subject to discover that that wasn't all of what he was. So I thought it was important. I thought it was a good choice. I could have anybody do the narration of the environmental challenges that we face in the world, but I thought it would be he'd be appropriately placed as the narrator because of Millis's conflict. I thought they're, just a nice relationship there. Yeah.
No, was he someone that you were interested in and did like research before this movie, or was it something that you really looked into because of American Trash?
No, for years I've been familiar with the case. I've done a lot of research over the years into organized crime back in the 60s that was running drug pipeline through Hollywood, Beverly Hills, people like Gino Massaro, Frankie Garbo, a lot of organized crime figures that were friends with people like, what's his name, Robert Evans, was it? No, Evans and Sidney Korshak at Paramount, who did deals with organized crime. And if you do a lot of more research, you start to understand this very nefarious type of network of people back in that time that are linked more or less to Charlie Manson in a way because of the way that the city had this incestuous kind of pattern to it. That a lot of people knew certain people, and they were accessible, and so I was just wanting to see the bigger picture, and I think the more research I did on the trial, the people who tried Manson, the defense attorney, Vincent Bugliosi, Evel Younger, a lot of the key players in that whole uh, uh, that the theatrics of justice, so to speak. If you dig deep enough, you can see there's things in it that don't necessarily add up. And so I just found it curious, just like the idea that, the same person who wrote the book about Kennedy, John F. Kennedy being assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, and that there was no conspiracy and that he acted alone. He was just, some nutbag. The more research that's been done over the years suggests that that's not true. And the same man who wrote that book wrote the book Helter Skelter. So if you dig a little deeper, you start to recognize, as much as Manson gets the scapegoat card for being this devil that orchestrated something unfathomable, the more research you do in terms of what was around him and how that functioned in an agreement to commit crimes by very powerful people and those who protected them, Manson kind of, in my opinion, comes off more like a choir boy compared to some of the things around him. So, I thought that was fascinating. And I also know, I guess creatively, I felt this sense of incarceration over the years. So I wanted to just write something to get out of jail, to free myself artistically, and invite some other people too that I felt have not been allowed to demonstrate the full range of their creative ability.
And this person, and seeing Millicent, seeing that vulnerability that within this person that many of the people in the world would judge, like Manson, is seeing, well, you're seeing what the outside, the shell around them, not seeing what's going on inside as a person who cares. And Millis, that love story is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to see this vulnerable man who has been through terrible, terrible things be able to get that chance, and that he does go for it, because sometimes people don't. Sometimes people who've been through trauma, people will try to reach out and it just doesn't happen. So seeing that happen for him was beautiful. And I don't want to reveal anything from the story as it develops, but
Yeah, I'm glad that resonates with you, and I'm glad that you can appreciate you know the vulnerability that's required in that kind of love affair, and that especially in today's world. And that, you know, the tagline for the movie is "Love is the cure," right? That's my tagline. Love is the cure. And I think, you know, I've been having conversations with myself for years, you know, and different forms, you know, and so I wanted to just write a story that I could have this catharsis and create character archetypes, you know, an assortment of people from different walks of life that represent different aspects of my own consciousness, the negative, the positive, and something in between. And in that sense, I thought it was important to do that as a healing creatively, and also for people who feel fragmented in their psyche, that they don't feel like just one person, they feel like several people that are in conflict with their own mind, their own identity, their own this idea of ego. So I feel like there's a splintering phenomenon with Millicent, and so I thought it was important to show that and have the Mandy character, the eternal optimist, communicate, you know, a different lesson in terms of morality, not going to violence, uh, not listening to Charlie Manson, because clearly she was not a fan of the tape recordings that I utilized in the movie. She was, you know, almost the polar opposite of her sister, Melissa, who clearly is an advocate of Manson's environmental philosophies. So I thought it was interesting to play with the duality in the form of the characters, kind of like the way I feel like that 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 duality operating within myself, and a lot of people that I know have a shadow self. We all have a shadow side. Some it's greater. The shadow is, you know, more prevalent and more you know, has greater influence on the choices that people make. And I didn't want to judge it. Like I didn't want to, you know, feel like I wanted to be free to communicate realistically human nature, and not just in the people that are dealing with the crisis of loss and the death of a young woman, but also the environmental crisis, and focus more on the people that create that rather than exploit the visual uh, aesthetic of it. Who's doing this? Where's this apathy coming from? Why doesn't anybody care about community? Why are we so cut off from each other? There's a scene in the movie where a character named Linda talks about how, well, she responds to this character Jared, who says, you know, someone filmed a rape the other day and put it on social media, and she says, what the hell is wrong with people, you know? And she takes issue with that this false sentiment. You know, people will videotape a horrific event, put it on their social media feed to glorify their status, but then when it comes time to do something in the community to help somebody, no one lifts a finger. And so that was my social political commentary that I thought was important as a through line to communicate to those of us who are still sensitive and awake to what's going on and why are we so afraid to care for one another, you know, and why are we allowing our communities and our environment to degenerate along with the disposition that thinks that that's okay and is so hung up on materialism and being self-absorbed that it's losing touch, like the Native Americans knew how to coincide with the land. They didn't want to conquer things. They recognized the earth and the soil and the abundance of life, and they were in harmony with it rather than trying to conquer it, buy it, sell it, exploit it, and then ultimately just puke it off into the ocean with all the other garbage that we just throw away. Thus my title, American Trash. This kind of disposable fast food mentality that's doesn't have any introspection in it. So I thought it was important, at the risk of being preachy in the movie, to have characters that spoke in these kind of esoteric, philosophical fashion, you know, unlike, you know, dialogue you see in most mainstream movies.
What was the actual, you know, directing something that you're also starring in, especially since it's your first time directing something? What was just that experience like?
It was very difficult.
It sounds it.
Yeah, it was very difficult. I had to really turn myself inside out at times, and it took a lot. It definitely took its toll on my on me mentally and on the physical body, because I had to try. I guess you could say I don't like putting labels on myself, but there's a bit of the training that I learned early on, the Stanislavski method acting. So I did utilize some of the method to really go there, to some places, and some of my past experiences in my life and the PTSD and the trauma. I just, opened up that Pandora box and let all that stuff come out. And I needed people to guide me periodically, whether it was the DP or a colleague, so that I wouldn't get, too far out into space where I'd lose sight of how to construct this thing, that I could still stay objective, that when we said cut, I could, uh, come back to whatever reality outside the movie was present to me and just, move on to the next setup. So it's a kind of a schizophrenic like experience.
Yeah, I
Interesting you
bet.
say
I
that. Melody here, who's an actress, I'm hooked already. I quite frankly frequently and openly discuss my genuine so-called multiple personality being my ability to act. So, but along those lines, so in a way, it is a benefit to have bad things to call upon to be an actor. But how does that affect you at times? Is there ever times like it's a negative, obviously, to call upon all these bad experiences, even though it may make your performance better?
Yeah, I think it wreaks havoc on the nervous system for sure.
got to.
It does something to the nervous system, and that's where the PTSD comes into play. So whether it was because I'm a veteran, I was in the military. I did 4 years. I was I was stationed during the Cold War. I was stationed below Siberia, and then I got out of the military in 1985, and then a year later I started. I revisited the vocation of theater and all that, and then next thing I know, I got a contract to do a Hollywood movie. Long story short is that the what's required of you, whether it be the military, whether it be a career that's very competitive and cutthroat, and you have to bear countless indignities and start to, and what that does, depending on your personality type, what it does to the sense of self can be very confusing at times and can cause trauma. And even if when you achieve what people perceive as success, you discover within that success that it doesn't necessarily free you. It doesn't bring about a liberating state of consciousness. You're still locked up in yourself. You're still whatever your issues are. Maybe the success amplifies those things unless you talk to a therapist. So my point being is that over the years, I think that what I noticed was in this idea of career with me is that David utilized particular aspects of what they saw in the talent and exploited lots of lessons in barbarism. And I was invited into, stories in filmmaking that were very violent in nature. And so I had to immerse myself in aggression quite often. And I think that I didn't realize at the time, because I thought one day it would basically, those hells would exhaust themselves and somebody would say, okay, Robert, you're anointed and you're free of this. And now we're going to allow you to do something a little more lighthearted and explore other aspects of your capability. That never happened, though. Very rarely did it happen. So there was a rotation over the decades of continually visiting what people would call, the bad guy, the devil, the Charlie Manson, so to speak, of the realm, and feeling the sense of being incarcerated and limited within the creativity. And I think there was damage done as I went deeper and deeper down that hole to make it as realistic as possible. And then one day, people, somebody, I think somebody asked me, Robert, where do you go? I see, and I said, what do you mean, where do I go? And where do you go? If something happens, and I go, well, I just look around, man. I just look around at me, and I look at some of the people that hired me and felt like they were the COs. They were they were the correctional officers that had put me in here, and so it was very easy for me to draw off of this aggression because, I started to lose sight between the performer and things from my past. Using that stuff, like you say, you got bad stuff or trauma in your life that you can grab hold of. It's right there, and then take that material and integrate in what the imagination and what the writers created for you, make it your own, and they go, wow, that's very convincing. And so, you get the applause. Wow, you scared the hell out of me. Fantastic. But after a while, man, I don't know. You just wake up one day in hell. And so I thought, well, I'm getting kind of, I feel like maybe if I can, put something together, write something from my heart that doesn't live in a subhuman mythos, I can play with some of the old formulas that they've assigned me to that people relate to, but then introduce other variables that suggest something that has some soul, some heart, and empathy, and love, rather than a continual exploration into darkness, into states of mind that bring about death and the tearing apart of the human experience. I wanted to write something that I felt was catharsis about that challenge that certain types of people face, and that they have to make a decision at a very crucial point in their lives. And so I thought I thought that was, I could really, really relate to that aspect of things in my own life, and also I felt I needed to create an avatar, a character like Millis, to demonstrate that duality. And
So,
then
real quick,
I think the cherry on top is to find a woman, because it's been my own life experience, despite the shadow nature of this guy, that people still love me. Women have loved me. So, despite this idea of the nefarious guy with the tattoos, etc., that a lot of what I wrote, right, was mine, but it wasn't all mine. It was impressions over the years of people talking to me, telling me things. Women, men I know in my life that came at key points where I was living on the edge of everything, like Manson, on the edge of sanity versus insanity, and going into a world that some would consider, lunacy. And people would pull me back. These guardian angels would show up periodically and just whisper in my ear, or they would remind me that whatever I was thinking wasn't me. It was an impression given to me by somebody else, to misinterpret who I was. So I had to decondition myself from Hollywood and what they made of me, and also some of the people that were in my younger life that uh, influenced me, so to speak. And that's why I can relate to Charlie Manson a lot, because he grew up in foster, he was, went into the system very early on. His mom just basically abandoned him. He was abused. There's a lot of stuff I could relate to on that level. I'm not saying he was a good guy. Of his own admission, he said he wasn't. But I don't think he was the monster that they made him out to be. I think he was a very convenient scapegoat for Vincent Bugliosi to sell Helter Skelter myth about a race war, so they could hide all the drug dealing that was going on up at Cielo Drive, that the mafia was involved in, and that Wojtek Bukowski and Jay Sebring were involved in. They were really clever, because organized crime was very powerful back in the 60s, and they were laundering a lot of money back in those days through the studio. And so they had a lot to lose. So, I understand this, notion of cover up, and people being people conveniently being scapegoat to sell something, and then the truth gets lost because it's inconvenient, just like our environment, what's happening in the world, the inconvenient truth, like the documentary. And so I just, there's a lot of things to touch on.
John Reddy wants to know, did you ever read the book Chaos? He says it's about Manson and the CIA, came out in 2020.
Yeah, I read the first half of it. I liked a lot. I'm not sure if I think it's a very intriguing theory that the MK Ultra element might have been utilized by the CIA. That's something to consider. I'm more in line with a book that George Stimson wrote called Goodbye Helter Skelter, and another book that Nicholas Schreck wrote called The Manson File, which is a very comprehensive encyclopedia, basically, about the history of Hollywood, all the major players, and everything under the sun. But yeah, I'm familiar with those works, and I think it's important for people to read as many books on the subject as possible, so they can put the pieces together of a very complex story that, at the end, still is missing some pieces. And I think by design, because I didn't think, just like the Kennedy assassination, I don't think they wanted the American people to know what was really going on up at Cielo Drive, because a lot of celebrities would have been exposed. A lot of people in the music industry that were beloved would have been exposed in ways that back in those days would have ruined their careers. And the Roman Polanski circus and the antics behind closed doors and the voyeurism. I mean, it was the 60s. People were experimenting. So, the flip side of the coin is that, Manson and Polanski to me have certain similar things in common. But most people don't want to hear that because, Polanski's hailed as, this acclaimed filmmaker, and we don't want to look at anything else other than that. We want to just leave the rest alone and bury it. And they did a good job at that, so, but anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I haven't made that movie yet.
It's an interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah. That's one to look at later. Like,
yeah.
Your next film.
It's going to be a tough nut to crack, because what they did do back in the 60s geniusly was that they have, to this day, and TV shows are still recycling the same old patterning of thought about what happened. So it's a lot of people will lose face, and a lot of the people that could do something or hurt people or all that, or would bear the indignity, are gone now. But they're still even the old guard may be gone. They handed off to the new guard a certain agreement not to tell complete truths about certain parts of Hollywood history. There's some things that are just considered, you just don't touch that, leave it alone. So I don't know if anybody will even care about what really happened, more or less, if that would sell to the public, to their bloodlust of wanting to continue to resurrect, whether it's Hitler, Manson, whoever, to satisfy a fascination with this idea of evil, And that's why I was willing to, utilize Manson in the movie as an environmentalist kind of, guru, so to speak, and risk, the blowback that would come. But what I also did was I wrote all this, and I had characters who are on the opposite side of it, that weren't fans of Manson. Mandy's not a fan of Manson. There's things that are going on that represent the paradox that was important to me, so that when people watch the film, they can make their own decision about it. I didn't want to include any particular fundamental ideology. I wanted to leave it open to interpretation. That's why I thought it was very important that Melissa's sister have a complete, even though she was a hippie, so to speak, or had an affection for nature, that she wasn't so quick to think that Charlie was, the second coming. Although Melissa, clearly had a different feeling about that. So that's just me having conversations with myself in the storyline. It's not manipulative. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I've looked at both sides of it, just like I've looked in the mirror and seen two people staring back at me. Which is the real guy, the shadow guy or the other guy? So I just think humanity has to face itself one day and understand that the world that we're living in, we created, more or less. I mean, we can blame the leaders for everything and say, well, it's this guy's fault. And maybe there's some truth to that. But our lack of a resistance to that power. Like in the 60s when the people were, the young people were revolting in the street and they were challenging the hierarchy, and Jerry Rubin and Abby Hoffman and Bobby Seale, the Black Panthers. There was a lot of very aggressive approach to going against the status quo of conventional thinking. We need that now in a way that communicates intelligence, not just blind arrogance. So, how responsible are we to this idea of the devil, or this culprit that is, or several culprits that are responsible for the dehumanization of our world, the collapse of the ecosystems, the greed element? I mean, they were talking about this in the 60s. A lot of people were having conversations about it. It's not nothing new. The question, though, is, as a society, man, have we changed much as a collective? Have we allowed the leaders to manipulate us? Most of the places I know where I filmed burnt down to the ground. So when I made this movie, I had a vision. I saw something. I wasn't, there's a scene in the movie where the Miller's character says, Los Angeles is going to burn. Los Angeles is going to burn. And he felt it was a blessing. And I've been in Los Angeles for many, many decades, and I've seen the fires. I've been in the earthquakes. And I knew it's like a motorcycle. You get on a motorcycle, it's not if you're going to go down. You're going to drop the bike. The question is when and how bad. I knew something was coming because every year, every decade, I've seen the city get more and more with the BLM riots. I was there for that. I watched the city change, and I felt the vibrational frequency become very dark, combined with this fantasy of Hollywood still selling to the public this utopian fantasy land that I don't see any evidence it exists. What I see is a factory, and a lot of young people with aspirations running out to that factory with hopes to achieve some kind of dream, which is beautiful. The hard facts are, though, I don't find it to be a very tight-knit community where people are really looking out for each other. It's a death race. It's a track and field event. It's not a team sport. People are isolated in their own bubbles. There isn't really a great sense of community. And so I wanted to also make a movie, like Miller says in the movie. He says, if I could invent a fantasy to live in with people like you, it'd be this one, because what I saw lacking around me in my social circle, I wanted to embellish in a fantasy, and hope that, even in, that was my dream, to in that sense. So,
Have you watched American Trash with an audience?
No, not yet.
I just imagine, obviously, any movie you're in, obviously you want it to do well and you're connected to the character, but, writing it, directing it, being so personal to you, what kind of experience, are you looking forward to watching it with people, or you're not wanting to do that?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to watch the film now because all the places where it filmed, like the opening scenes of the movie with Melissa, and I filmed where the interior sequences in the opening, the first part of the film, I lived in that apartment. That's where I lived.
Wow.
And that place has since burnt to the ground. So my comments in the film about Los Angeles burning, are not, or they're a reality now. And I just and to what extent, like I said earlier, I didn't know how. I knew it was going to be bad. I just didn't know when the city was going to burn and to what degree. A lot of my friends have lost their houses in the Palisades, and so when I look at the film now, it has a whole other meaning to me now. I'm not just reaching into a grab bag of fantasy and trying to it actually happened the way I imagined it would. I just didn't know to what degree it would happen. And the irony to me is that the very building that I lived with the character Melissa, and the place I actually lived personally, I saw the rubble in the videos and the pictures of it. I've seen it on the ground. So I think that part of it may be difficult to look at, but I think it's also necessary
Mm.
to demonstrate the validity of the piece. That it's not just some, hokey, nihilistic approach to life. Because some of the reviews have been positive, but they've also, it's a very bleak, dark kind of thing, and they've lost sight of the love affair and some of the other things. And I can understand why people would perceive the movie, especially when you mention Charlie Manson. But how dark is my film, really, when you look at the landscape of Los Angeles right now? Um, so I don't know. I think I was just being honest about what I sensed, because it wasn't like I only lived there a year. I've lived in California more than half my life. I left New York when I was in my early 20s, and was out there for many, many decades. So I don't know. It was just something I felt. I seen it coming. I felt it coming, and I just felt, well, I need to write about it. I need to communicate it. I need to liberate myself creatively, and some of the other actors I chose. I saw that they were pigeonholed in their careers or certain things that they were doing, and I wanted to have be a collaborative experience that people would get that sense of freedom too. Man, I didn't want to. I don't want to be. Why would I want to incarcerate somebody or lock somebody up in something when I don't even enjoy that myself?
Right.
So I saw it as an opportunity.
So in memory of your friend Tom Sizemore, great actor. I was happy to see him in the movie. Obviously it's sad he passed away, but so like, were you very close to Tom Sizemore?
Yeah, I met Tom in 1980. I think it was 1988 or 89. It was his first movie. They picked me up in a limo. We drove out to New Jersey to film a movie called Penn and Teller Get Killed.
I know the movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so we had a couple hours to kill in the limo, and we talked about everything under the sun. And then we had a bus ride back together, and we talked some more. And then we would run into each other periodically over the years. And then he went his way, I went mine. But then in the last, I don't know, last decade, we started showing up in movies together again and reacquainting ourselves with our relationship, and we rekindled the friendship.
I love that you show how important that is too. There's a love story with Melissa, and there's also the friendship, the beautiful friendship of these two lovely people that support. I can't remember his name. The man who is yes, beautiful friendship where they're really complimenting each other and holding each other up throughout the whole film, and then many sad things. The movie is filled with sad things, but just to see how good of friends they are, and thinking about military service and how people depend on one another. If you're there, you need each other. You need to depend on each other.
Yeah, and there's a lot of unconditional love that runs throughout this story in terms of, despite Melissa's actions, Ty's always there. He's got his back. He doesn't judge him. I mean, I had other scenes that were removed from the film that discuss the impact of those choices, but I felt it was excessive. I'm already getting flack because that the movie's too long. So the point is that I thought it was important to show unconditional love through Ty, with also the mysterious character that shows up periodically in the movie named Charles. And I just, these are all people that I met throughout my life that have talked to me, and also me talking to myself, me interpreting those messages over time, whether it be a Mandy person, a Melissa type, a Ty, Charles, whomever, that affected me personally, and how I ran with this grace that they gave me to keep me sane, to keep me balanced, to keep me going, and not end up in the ruination. But the thing is, and in terms of the conclusion of the film too, I feel like it's also, regardless of how people with their religious beliefs, their spiritual connotations, the movie's an allegory. It speaks to a higher purpose beyond the physical world, and that it could potentially have a fourth dimension to it in terms of transcendence. And the way that the character concludes his experience suggests something after this physical life that some people may or may not relate to. And I wanted to explore the possibility of karma, the karma that we create in this life, collective karma in our world, in our society, our community, individual karma that we create in our interpersonal relationship dynamics, all of that. I thought it was important to at least touch upon, especially for Millis, in terms of his love being so strong for this woman and the sacrificial element that when he meets justice, it's not with aggression. It's a surrender that happens in that crucial moment. And he sees love coming toward him. And he's ready to receive that love. So if you're a condemner and you believe in condemnation, you'll be like, well, he did something bad, so no love for him. If you look at this life experience, as the Hindus would say, this is just one chapter in a billion lifetimes till we get it right, then Millis is simply going around a wheel of samsara, the samsara wheel, cause and effect, to finally get to a place where he can let go, or any of us, let go of our past tendencies that have imprisoned us in a way of living that's not necessarily free. And that love ultimately will help deliver us to that experience in whatever form it takes,
When you were younger and pursuing acting, were your friends and family like supportive of that?
I it was ambiguous with the family. There was a woman that looked after me. She wasn't my biological mother, but she was very encouraging. Yes. And then I had a teacher at the high school for performing arts who became a surrogate father. His name was Anthony Apeson. He stayed in touch with me while I was in the military because I was going through all kinds of changes when I was a young man. Even when I was at the high school performing arts, I couldn't really relate to actors. I didn't, they seemed a bit odd to me, and I don't know. I was more had a penchant for hanging out on the streets with guys that I could I don't know. I just was so I don't know how much support there was there, and even after I started getting some success, I never really as I had experiences over time, I realized it was a very competitive field, and there weren't too many opportunities to be friends other than the people that had encouraged me. And yeah, so and I ran with that. I ran with the if you people with all you need is a one or two people whisper in your ears something positive that can just dilute or put to rest all the negative feedback you're getting, or the conventional, because when a lot of young men like myself, I was so confused in terms of identity. I had no inkling to become an actor. I didn't care about none of it. I just, realized that I could do it. People said I was good at it, but didn't really matter to me. I was just on the street with my friends. I felt always like a foster. I always felt like I was looking for some kind of family to belong to, and I found a bunch of men like myself, young, confused, and a little bit on the other side of the tracks that I could relate to, but they got into trouble, caught cases, some went to jail, some of them died, and I saw death coming, and I said, well, what do I do? So I joined the military, did 4 years, and so that was my anchor point, not the kids at school, these idea of actors, or I didn't hang out with creative people other than the teachers that taught me. So yeah, it was, I don't know, it's by divine grace, I guess, that I figured out while I was overseas and doing my tour that other part, the creative aspect of things, was still there. And that's where my teacher, Tony Abeson, was crucial as a kind of Clarence, like the angel from It's a Wonderful Life, to guide me away from the bridge, not to jump off, to stay on the bridge, to cross over into a destiny of creativity that could make a contribution. And I really believe his faith was so strong in me that became my faith. That's where I found it, but not, and that's what carried me over. And then when I saw it materializing in the form of work, I realized it wasn't some pie in the sky, speech that he gives to all the students. He actually really cared about me. We became good friends we were friends for many, many years.
You pretty much just answered this, but I didn't want to put up here. Melody asked, it takes a lot of balls to not only discuss these things, but to utilize them. When did you turn the corner and decide to run with being yourself?
I'm not even sure I know who that is at this point. All I would say is that someone once said to me that you're whatever screenplay they put in front of you, Robert. That's and then they apologized to me, and maybe there's some truth to that. But I would say this, that anytime you remove pretense and this idea of being above somebody or below, when you're just looking at people, right at them, talking to them from your heart and expressing your feelings, that's who you are. And to me, that's love. That's being honest. You're not hiding behind a mask. You're just being honest. And you want to call that you, fine. You want to give it a name, fine. Baba Ramdas would say, no, deconstruct to somebody and just be here now. And you can make it up. We can all pretend to be what we want to be in this life and give it a name and label everything. But I think when you're facing eternity, what are you then? Are you a spirit? Are you a heart? What happens then? So, I think for me, it's more of a philosophical, spiritual reflection now in terms of who am I, and not knowing the answer to that is my freedom. I don't want to define it anymore. I think if you define, right, you can find. So get rid of the labels. If you define, you can find. Now you can define it in the world and the matrix and the jobs and the work that they give you. So you're going to do this, and you do your duty. You play along, and you do it to the best of your ability. But as it says in the Bible, I think maybe Jesus might have said this, something about, I may be in the world, but I'm not of it. So you can move through it, do what's required of you. How much you choose to believe in that is up to you. And what I found is being in the work, the show of industry, that I've come across a lot of people that they take their position very serious. So did I for many years, until I realized it wasn't going to save me, and that success didn't bring me a better class of friends. It brought me maybe a better class of enemies, because there was a lot of envy there, So I think you just want to get real with it at the end of the day. If you're creative, you're creative. You create something. You enjoy the process. And if other people come along to help you build it, and you build a house together, right on. But when you make an idol of those things in yourself, I think that's when you get into trouble. That's when it gets, the God thing happens. You think, you become, a self-appointed deity and all that. And I think that's dangerous. And I think that's why another reason I thought it was important with American Trash to have him be an anti-hero. I didn't want there to be any heroics. I didn't want there to be anything like that. I wanted to show the vulnerability, the ugly, and then ultimately the love and the transcendence that carries even the most tormented being over the bridge into an auspicious happening that isn't defined by conventional wisdom that suggests, that justice only functions this way. If you do this, then that's it. I feel there's a lot of gray area with that.
You teach in this moment and through the film, teaching so much. So when are you going to work with children who need the help? When are you going to be that teacher that you had? You just seem like you'd be really good at it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, first of all. And I think, some of that has already happened with people that call me and I've spoken to, and I guess counsels with me. I've had a lot of young men come up to me over the years at tattoo conventions and various places where I've made, I guess, appearances. And then they've said to me, Robert, I got my first tattoo because of you.
Okay.
A lot of men over the years have said to me that they felt what I felt. Because, when I first started getting tattooed back in the military, and even when I was 17, I was getting tattooed. But when I started doing the career thing, It wasn't popular. It wasn't trendy. It wasn't cool. There wasn't any celebrity, tattoo chefs and all the stuff they got going on now. They threw rocks at me. I'd go to the casting director in the office, and they'd say the messenger entrance is around back. And I'd say, I'm not here to deliver a package, man. I'm here to audition. So, I went through that part of things. But then, and for a while there, I thought, well, I guess I'm going to have to deal with a lot of this for quite some time. But then the good news is that over the years, as things started changing a little bit, people would see me in these movies and TV and stuff, and they'd say to me, Robert, some guys who did time, some guys who didn't, met people from all walks of life would just say that to me. And it was after all the indignities, I guess, this ego had to bear, I felt like a healing was happening. I saw young men and women tattooing themselves, doing things that years ago I never imagined in my wildest dreams would be celebrated in media. And to have some of those people thank me, I never saw that coming, because I didn't get tattooed to be cool. I didn't get tattooed because it was the in thing to do. I was just tattooing myself because it was a spiritual kind of cleansing. It was a way to express a lot of stuff going on in the internal that needed to come to the surface. It wasn't a fashion statement. I didn't feel like there was anything pretty about it. I'm not saying it's ugly, but I'm looking at some of the artwork these days, man, and it's like, wow, it's really beautiful. It's not the same world I came from. So, but anyway, I feel like in a way, without me knowing it, people have told me that. And to answer your question specifically, I guess if there's an opportunity and someone reaches out to me and it makes sense, I'll be more than happy to talk to people. I guess if they feel like I can make any difference.
I do want to let you know, people in the chat here, John says you're inspiring the F out of him right now. And
Nice.
Melody says, damn, you just put the Matrix and the Bible in the same sentence, and you're some kind of odd kindred spirit. This has been such a pleasure.
Well, I'm glad I didn't bore you to death. I know I tend to.
No,
not at all. Yeah.
You're just talking, and I'm thinking, I could say, but I'm just.
Yeah, I don't think I said a word that entire time. I was just mesmerized.
Well, there's not a lot of, we probably don't have a lot of time left. So can I just take this moment? Can you all just speak to me? So let me ask you guys some questions, and ladies and gentlemen, what were your feelings about the film when you watched it? What did you take from it? What do you feel? Because I know there's a lot of things we can talk about, but I really would really like to focus on this film, if that's okay with y'all, rather than, the other stuff. What are your impressions about it? And don't pull your punches. I'd like to know objectively how you felt about it. I like critique. So help me out, please.
It's hard to critique because I felt so strongly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about what I'm going to say, and I'm feeling, I'm going to cry because I felt, and this is genuine, I felt love, and I felt love for him and the experience of his life, and just wanting things to go well for this poor guy, who's just, he's a victim of what happened around him and things that he didn't ask for. And so for me, technical kind of like, it was, it's a movie and you watch it and you see like the cinematography. Oh, I really did like the score, especially. I noted that, like, this is really good. Sometimes it's not great and it throws the movie off, but this was really good. But emotionally, it really pulled me in with the Manson and being insightful and me thinking, well, I didn't think about it like that before, and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I really love it.
Annabelle and I had years ago actually tried to get Manson on the show, and because both of us talked off.
Are you kidding?
We tried to get him on the. It didn't work, but we did actually get pamphlets sent to us, like, of his teachings and stuff.
We got authorized music from him. We were authorized.
To play his music on the show, and so I've always, and Annabelle, we've talked about this off air and on air, found him an interesting character, very much like what you were saying. Also, Troy and our mom, who is from that era, also is someone who we both grew up with our mom talking about, not like she's a fan of Manson, but at the same time, also sees him like you're saying, not necessarily it's all one way or the other. It's it's a human being. There's clearly he's charismatic and talked about certain things and also did terrible things. So I find that all very interesting, and I was glad that that's a big part of the movie. And I also really appreciated that your character, and I don't want to give anything away in the movie, is, as you were saying, not heroic. There, because I don't know if I don't want to say it would be cheap, but it would make it a different movie. I think.
Yeah, it would go in a completely different
Yeah,
direction.
he's clearly has his, like a human being, has very positive sides. The love affairs you're talking about, but then there comes a point in the movie where he does something that you can't defend, and I think that makes the movie very powerful because it's not about am I on this guy's side or am I against him? Is he the good guy or the bad guy? It's about a real person and what happens to them. And like Annabelle said, not necessarily, maybe, well, ultimately it's his decision, but he's also put in an environment that, is it he who makes himself, or is it the environment, or is it a combination of everything?
For me, hearing that, I think about this person it's Robert, you said about the word condemn, right? It's not about condemning this guy and saying you did the bad thing, and
Right.
therefore it seems you're seeing that vulnerability the whole time, even in the end, even with the choices he made for that big final scene, and knowing that all of that comes from a place of hurt. All of that comes from a place of hurt and being damaged. And so to use it as an opportunity as a viewer, as an opportunity to understand people that maybe not everybody has experience with, people who've had that kind of trauma and experienced the things he'd experienced, just to build compassion. The name American Trash, not just about the trash, but that people who are considered American trash. And to look at someone who would be disposable to many people. And this is a human. They're complicated. It's not what you see. It's not just this appearance. It's not just it. This is a person who has a full story, feelings, thoughts, wanting love.
Yeah, there's that word again. So yeah, I think it's crucial, and that's another reason that I approached the material and the construct of the film and tried my best to minimize the violence. I didn't want the violence. I wanted the violence to be symbolic, not visceral. These days, everybody has become desensitized, and it's like a bloodlust, like the Roman Colosseum. People want to see more. They want things to be more graphic because they've become they're benumbed to life, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to move that party line along because I've participated in films where they've been very violent, and I thought it'd be a hypocrite to make one where the theme really is about love, transcendence, and men dealing with PTSD, come back from the war, how they adapt, and all that, and then get real, explicit with the violence to sell the idea this revenge thing. And I've seen this before, and it doesn't work. In terms of revenge, never works. I don't see any evidence in our world that it works. What is it Gandhi said, or did Jimi Hendrix? An eye for eye. If we all follow that line of wisdom, then the whole world goes blind, man. And I think we're kind of on the edge of that, possibly. So, I thought it was important to show these things, but not in, I didn't want to they make violence seem so glamorous and spectacular,
And your
going
character
to hell in prison so cool. There's nothing cool about any of those things, man. I've seen people die. I've watched people get beat to death. There's nothing fun about any of that stuff. There's nothing cool when it really happens. It's a whole different thing that occurs when that kind of thing. Unless you're a sadist, you get off on it. But
right.
in real life, but I'm not. I don't want to be that person.
And your character answers for the violence in the movie.
He takes responsibility for it. Yeah, he tells Mandy what he tells her in a very, even though she says, what she says, he says, if I do, then this is what's going to happen, which is ironically opposite of what has been promulgated over the years about Manson influencing all this girl, a couple of people to. I wanted to go opposite of that and say, if I do this, then this is what will happen to all you guys. And so he bears the brunt of the action, like you said, and the sacrifice. And he even says it. He says, "Hey, because she asks him, what would Manson do? Ironically, like what would Jesus do?" So
Right, yeah.
he says, and I didn't make this up. I heard I did a lot of research over the years, listening to uncensored radio interviews with Charlie, talking about stuff, and he used to say, you take a life, you owe a life. And I used it in the film. She says, well, what would Manson? She asked, what would Manson do? He says, well, I don't know what he would do, but I know what Charlie said. He said, take a life, you owe a life. And so he knew he had to go where he had to go to do what he had to do in his own way, in universal law justice, not this idea of the police, but come to terms with things on a much larger scale. Some would say that's grandiose, and maybe they're right. That's why everybody gets to look at the ending and form their own conclusion. They could say it's anticlimactic. They could say it's flat. They could say it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. There's been any number of responses, which I think is beautiful because that's what I had hoped for. I didn't want to lead anybody in one particular direction. I wanted everybody to come away with a different kind of vibe and feel about the thing. People, and I noticed a lot of the female audience tend to have more of an affection for the film. I'm not saying you guys didn't. I'm just saying I noticed men tend to. I've been trained to cover my feelings, to lock them up, not cry, and so I noticed women seem to be more sensitive to the film than the male audience. They want me to go kill a bunch of people, and they want to be the evil guy, and they want all that stuff. And if there's too much music and too much lovey-dovey and too much philosophical, like, man, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch a movie that Robert goes crazy, or Robert, and I'm just like, I didn't, if I had, I had an opportunity to produce my own thing, why am I going to replicate the very design I'm trying to be free of?
That's come up a lot, Robert. Being free and not incarcerated, and not just physically, but
right,
spiritually, psychically, emotionally, absolutely. And I think that's where love comes in. I think if you allow yourself to love others, to care for people outside your own fascination with this guy, you care for others and allow yourself to be loved and take that risk, you're going to get the greatest. That's true spiritual practice, in my opinion, because you're going to get to, that's a real challenge. Relationship challenges everybody to come clean. I mean, a real one, whether it be a best buddy, an animal, your family, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, husband, wife. That's where you really get to see what you're up to, man. And we all fall short, more or less. And that's where there's always opportunities to learn. I thought that's what I wanted to show. I didn't want to have some Hollywood model of perfection and everybody walking off into the sunset. I wanted it to be more realistic, because that's, to me, how life is. But not, some people who want escapism, that's not going to be something that appeals to them. They don't want to look at that. And I understand. I totally understand. It's not an easy story or kind of film to embrace. It's hard on that. It's a hard lesson.
Because you talked about being creative and wanting to create. What was I don't know if one is more fulfilling, but what's the difference between acting, creating a character, and writing something and directing it? Is it all just creation to you, or is there different fulfillment?
Well, when memorizing dialogue, diving deep into an author or writer's material relieves me of the responsibility of the overall picture in terms of the other character. I mean, I'm going to read the whole script. I'm going to get a sense of the other players, etc. But I don't have to carry the load of what everybody else is doing, especially if I'm not in any scenes with them. So I find it to be a little not as heavy of a responsibility, and as and overwhelming to have someone else prepare for me by design, the character structure and all that, and then let me interpret that and then say, hey, do you like this? And they say yes or no, and they give me notes. I find that to be, a lot less stressful.
Mm.
A lot less stressful, man. Yeah. And then, so to me, there's a vast difference. The director, you got to look at everybody else, make sure they're, present, committed, and also the technical aspects of things are working. There's so many variables to keep an eye on. If you blink for a second and you miss something, oops, there it goes. And then if you're the director and also the lead character, then how do you evaluate yourself? That's a tough one, right? So that's that's not an easy thing to do. So I'd much rather have someone say to me, hey, Robert, I like what you did, but on this next one, can you give me a variation? I have to find ways, or I had to find ways when I was doing the film, split in half and go, okay, what's not working here? Let's find the flaw in it. No, it's working. No, let me see. And I had to be critical. And there are things I look at now, as we all do as artists, you look back and you go, well, I would have made a different choice. There's always room for improvement, right? So I do come away with going, okay, I saw that was a choice. I guess it worked, but I know a better choice, And I even when you're not directing and, you're not conducting, so to speak, and you're still just the performer and someone else is in charge on that level in terms of director and writers and stuff, I still left the set and gone back to the hotel and go, I could have did that scene. I remember what I did and he liked it, but man, there was another choice. Why didn't I pull that one out of my bag of tricks? So, each one has its own agony, man. And what I realized ultimately, you don't have any control over the result. All you can do is put your best efforts forward and just whatever happens, happens. And sometimes you get lucky. You're like, boo, how did I do that? Whoa, that's magic time. And you go, cool. But then you can't even get attached to the result because if someone asks you, how did you do that? You're like, I don't know. I just prepared. But
Well, how do people find American Trash?
It's available on Amazon Prime. It's available on Roku. It's available on a plethora of streaming platforms. Yeah.
And
Apple
I
TV,
highly recommend
Apple
it. Again, not
Television,
just because you're here.
TV, Dish Television, etc. Sorry, interrupted there.
No, it was my fault.
So people can find it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it is everywhere. So everybody out there, you've listened to us for a bit. You listen to Robert. I definitely hope they'll find it, just because it's a beautiful movie, and it isn't something. It's not something you see.
Yeah, it's true. I was very surprised.
Very special. It's a very special film.
Thank you. I'm glad that the film affected you that way, all of you. And then, I appreciate your time, and thank you for allowing me to go on and on and on. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
I appreciate it. Yeah, anytime.
Sorry.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been great. It's
Okay.
been great.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Robert. Take care.
you so much.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. All right. We'll take him out there. So we're gonna go to a quick break. That was amazing, Robert LaSardo. Years in the making, getting him on, and it was cool. I think it was cool we had him on for this particular movie. It worked out this way.
I agree.
Yeah, because I was completely kind of blown away. I expected a different movie, and I was very happy that I got this one.
Yeah, great. I've always been a big fan of his. He brought up the shadow side a lot, and what I always like, it's kind of the opposite, same idea though. When he plays a villain, a bad guy, he finds the humanity of that character, and I appreciate that.
Agreed.
So we're gonna play some trailers, and then we're gonna come back with AJ Cutler and Bill Weeden. And we're going to talk about Our Man Funk, which is going to be a very different film than American Trash. But
I think it's going to be the same movie, I think. Just their version of that movie.
well, in a way, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Different.
So,
There's a misunderstood hero. I mean,
exactly.
it's an anti-hero. It's an anti-hero. It's an
Yeah,
anti-hero
yeah.
story.
Hello.
Should be good now, but whatever. Where's our Billy Butt?
He
says he's backstage, but I do not see him. I only see me, Troy, Lecter, and yourself.
Oh, you got Weedened.
I've been weeding.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
Put him on speakerphone.
Oh, I got you.
He says he is backstage.
He's lying.
I'm backstage, AJ, and according to what I've got here, I'm backstage. But I'll
Exit and come back in.
I'm entering the studio again now. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Exit stage
All right.
left.
Enter studio. Okay.
Aha! I see him now.
Okay, good.
We have him here live.
Hello, everybody. I don't know what happened there. I was in the middle of the American Trash trailer. It froze on me. My entire computer froze on me. Hey, happy ending. Here I am.
All right.
You made it. That's all that matters.
So now we're back. We're joined by director AJ Cutler.
Hey,
Look at my
that's a
T-shirt.
great design.
Look at
That's a
that.
great design.
All right, Bill, can it for a second.
Don't tell me to can.
You can't talk to the star like that.
All right,
Star
Bill. All right,
Weeden.
Bill. Cut. Okay. Cut.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I always look upon the director as the boss, and whatever he says goes. So if he tells me to can I, hey, I'm out of here, guys.
No. Action, Bill. Action.
It's okay. How are you guys?
We're going to get a glimpse of how Our Man Funk's going to be run.
So great to see Troy. So great to see Annabelle. It's great to see you too, Neil.
Okay. I was like, wow, what about me? I don't live here, but well, it's good to see you as well, Bill and AJ.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
I'm happy to see everybody here.
Happy birthday to Dolores. My goodness.
Yeah.
She looks
Isn't
great.
that amazing? She's like supernatural.
Amazing.
I may have told you this, but the first time I met her, which was in 1991, my first thought was, oh, I'm crazy about her, but she's way too young for me. When I heard that she was older, I said, yes.
Dolores have any influence on this script?
What, Dolores?
Yeah. Did she inspire any of Our Man Funk?
I don't know.
Dolores left out of the picture because when I read the script, I was like, "Wow, this is crazy."
Yeah. Well, isn't it amazing that AJ winds up directing it? It's just so great.
Oh, I'm excited about that. AJ
So
rules.
excited about that.
That's a whole movie in itself, how that came about. But we'll stick to Our Man Funk.
Yeah.
So first of all, Our
no
Man
IMDb,
Funk. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
IMDb yet. Can you share with the world what is this movie?
Well,
What is
it's
that?
you were talking about it with Robert about American Trash, how revenge doesn't work. Well, our movie says the opposite thing. It sort of says
Revenge is the way.
that revenge is the way to go.
Yeah, you can watch them as a double billing, and you can decide for yourself, is revenge the way or not? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great to say revenge doesn't work, but like it does sometimes. And in this case, it's cathartic for the. But see, what the movie is about is about an ex-cop, me, who is vegetating at the home of his daughter and her husband and their 3 children. And one of the children is, can we say this? I guess one of the children is murdered, and I have given up on law enforcement. I'm really out of the world. I'm vegetating. I'm nowhere, and I come back to life and embrace my old nickname, Funk, and go on a vigilante hunt with my two surviving grandchildren. So how often does a grandfather and his two grandchildren go on a vigilante hunt? I mean, so it's I describe the movie as Death Wish meets Parenthood, which is kind of a weird matchup, but a very weird mashup. But I think it's going to be great. You know,
We're kind of stepping into a thing that people don't really talk about a lot, which is family revenge comedies. So it's
I remember that section at Blockbuster.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we do plan to be the nastiest, most endearing family revenge comedy of the year. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's one of my favorite genres, and Bill is like the best guy to come in and step into that role.
You guys are pioneers.
So I've been around this project for a long time and seen different people come and go. How did AJ Cutler become the director?
Well, do you want the real story or the nice
Just
story?
make one up. Oh, no, yeah.
The real story.
What a wild, crazy, fake story.
So the real story is that this movie was a little too awesome for some of the people that grabbed it before. And Bill brought it to me and he said, hey, I got this movie. It's got, some stuff in it that people are kind of telling me that I shouldn't do. And I looked at it and I said, we should do all of this and more. We should do this like hard. And so there were a couple things where I was like, wait, actually, can we do that? And then after talking to him for a while, I'm like, no, I understand the tone. I feel like I've trained my whole life for this by just watching cartoons and really fucked up horror movies on the side. And so it's like, I'm ready. I've waited my whole life for something like this. And I feel like we have no rules, but that's probably not entirely true.
I love that attitude. I love that attitude because that's like exactly what this movie needed. It was a little too safe. And AJ has brought the danger to it, and I love
It was
that.
too safe.
It was too safe.
I read that script. Stop.
You read the script. By comparison, that script was safe because we're going to go into areas that are very, very weird, and I think it's going to be really fun and outrageous and a lot of other stuff.
Bill, when you started talking to AJ and he's saying that, like, let's go harder, like, what goes through your mind? Because you had people telling you, let's take this out, let's not do this. And here's someone not only like, no, Bill, I want your vision, but let's even take it even further.
He had some specific ideas, and we don't want to talk about them necessarily because we don't want to give them. But he had some specific ideas that it wasn't just it wasn't like a pie in the sky idea like we ought to go outrageous, but he had some specifics and they were outrageous, and I loved every one of them. I mean, he's done some not major rewriting, but he's done some enhancement, if you could call it that, and they're excellent. They're excellent. They are very strange.
Yeah, need some handsome punks.
Says launch over.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the most handsome punks. I am very excited about our punks, which that's our main adversary in this film. So the city is overrun with crime, and Bill happens to live there. Funk happens to live there. And he hits his limit. So we start running into the punks, and our cast of punks I'm really excited about. We do have Michael J. Epstein, and so we have announced him, but we haven't announced him as a punk yet. So I'm pretty excited.
Everyone who knows him already knows that.
What else would he be with that glorious mohawk? You know what I mean? You're fit for it. You're bred for it, bud. And he's really down with, cartoon violence. Ever since I've worked with Michael, I could probably filmed him getting kicked in the nuts, like 4 different times.
Yeah. Once literally.
Yeah, literally. And he always says, hey guys, let's get this right because I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, right. But
And
yeah.
of course, Sophia always asks to do it again. So I'm pretty stoked to have Michael on board just because I know he brings the fun. He goes for it, and that's all I really want out of this movie is we're gonna go for it, every bit of it, and so I want everybody along to go for it too.
Amazing.
And Zach Amico, who I talked to a couple days ago, he's going to be on the show sometime soon to be talking about Our Man.
Oh yeah, you got him on?
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I love Zach. I actually watch a lot of his podcasts. Zach Amico's Spook Show, Midnight Spook Show. I'm all on that thing, and his comedy podcast. Good Lord! So I'm like, I'm gonna watch that episode. I hope he comes in and is just uncontainable. But when he accepted and he said yes, I knew that next level that we were trying to go to, it's like no problem now. Like Zach, I don't know anybody that goes to a further level than Zach Amico.
I'm
He
so
takes things pretty far.
Okay.
One scene needs someone to go really far.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. It was I'll be honest, he's playing a character that I was asked to play, and I didn't think I was honestly the guy for it, and I think Zach is. So.
That's to put it lightly. Neil.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah, Zach's character is going to take some real commitment.
There's one scene that I think Annabelle probably did read, which how can it go farther than that? It's going to go farther than that, but it's basically that scene, and that's what Zach's going to be involved with.
Oh, I thought of another scene. I'm like, there's a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of like heartwarming stuff. There's a lot of heartwarming stuff.
Yeah, there is. There is.
I don't know.
Our job is to make the heartwarming stuff as effective as the outrageous, gory stuff, which is going to take place. But there's nothing really sentimental, but there's stuff that should warm the heart a little bit.
Yeah. Grandpa and the same
We have
kids.
some good actors to take up those parts. And
it's like it just once it got, there's the idea of go bigger stuff that was like punching in pieces of like, oh, there's this scene, but it felt so dramatic because it's like, whoa, but then there's this other stuff. So I think that it's going to operate at this level.
Yeah,
it's going to be a whole different level. So I'm fascinated with this. Soon, AJ, you signed on. I was like, oh, this is.
It's going to be a mess.
We didn't really know how AJ became the director, but he was going to do the camera work at first, and then AJ said to me, "Look, I'd really like to direct this film." And I thought, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're getting him," and we did, because as Neil knows, and as you all know, I guess we were in the Once and Future Smash together, and I spent a whole weekend with AJ, and just what a great natural actor, and what a great person. And I just took to him immediately, as everybody does. And no, he's shaking his head. They don't.
Love or hate, baby. Love or hate.
Okay.
Well, that makes a star.
Yeah, I just noticed I was under a different name here, but we changed it.
Yeah, what is Jackie Jones?
That's my wrestling name. It's my wrestling name.
That's the whole show?
Huh? Yeah, I just now noticed it, so I was Jackie Jones.
Oh, I didn't even know.
It says
that's my alter ego, Bill.
Todd
Like on the Pride of the Pilgrims, the most honest man in all of podcasting, handsome Jackie Jones. But we're not that here. We're Nasty Neil here. Todd Quality Jaeger. It needs cheesecake.
It needs cheesecake. Well, he and I have the cheesecake thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys have a special bond.
The cheesecake connection.
There's all the connection. You need to see the movie, Troy.
Yes.
Jason Minton, the only actor I've had a speaking scene with, and the only man to pull out my chest hair.
Nice to see you, Jason.
I still have that chest hair.
Keep
Yeah,
it
you
on
could
That's an
sell-
odd
you-
collection.
pillow.
Yeah, that's a unique collection.
I kept it, Jason. I love you.
Have you seen
It's-
his show, Southern Tried? It's really cute. It's on
Oh, it
YouTube.
sounds great.
It's very
It's like
cute.
play on Southern Fried.
It is. They try crazy shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's cute.
We haven't mentioned the other person that's going to be in Our Man Funk, who's Nasty Neil is his name now. It was Jackie Jones a few minutes ago, but he's going to be in it too.
Yeah.
You
I'm gonna
come in
be. I'm gonna be in this movie. I mean, but we were trying to sell the movie. We don't want people to like, oh man, I don't know about this. But
Listen, anybody who saw you as Backwoods Bob is going to want to see you in anything.
I appreciate that.
Backwoods Bob is a legend.
Backwoods Bob.
We do have one more. There's going to be one other punk that we have, which we're shooting in Boston, and so he's a Boston local, Boston native, Billy Coyne. He's a special effects madman, genius, and he's ready. As Bill would say, he is hot to trot.
He is hot to trot.
He's
And
cool.
he's what an easy guy to work with he is, because I went to Boston less than a year ago to shoot a scene in a film called The Wicked Hollow. Have you heard of that movie?
I won't say much about it, but yeah.
And Billy was working on that movie, and he put me up for the night. And what a host! So we got along like gangbusters. And so when it came time to cast the movie, I said, "Are you interested?" Because he seemed like the right type. He is very hot to trot. He's a
great guy,
and he's
very
a special.
talented too.
He's a special effects expert too. So he's going to be doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Data 5000, the MMA fighter.
We did get Dada 5000, and so have you seen Dada 5000 fight?
Yeah. I remember he fought. I forget who it was. It was a few years ago. Was it guy who used to be in Pride?
Well, he fought Kimbo Slice for his last
Kimbo
fight.
Slice, that's actually what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But I used to watch Dada 5000 because he had a cage set up in his backyard, and he would sanction backyard MMA fights, and it was on YouTube for like 8 years. And so I'm like, who the fuck is this guy with a Spartan helmet? His hair's cut into a literal Spartan helmet, and it's all dyed red. And he's like 6'6", 260. I mean, he's a beast. So when he accepted and he agreed to come on, I was like, I know exactly where to put you. You're going to be working with Bill Weeden. So he's really excited. He's super down.
So is it Bill? Yeah.
Yep. He's in there. He's ready to go.
Guys, this is a little bit of a sausage fest. To throw it out there.
Yeah. Well, we
Lisa Gay.
Yeah, we got Lisa Gay. Lisa Gay is really excited. And her scene, I don't want to say too much about her scene, but it's very intense, and I think she'll have a really good time with it. So I enjoy Lisa Gay a lot, and just even working with her up until now, super excited to see her on screen.
Great.
So I've got the Indiegogo campaign here. It's always this big long title, but if you look up Our Man Funk on Indiegogo, it's going to be the only one there. So boom.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah. Let's do this a little better. It's supposed to be scrolling, but it is not.
Oh, what happened to it?
I don't know. It's being a pain here.
On YouTube.
Get it, get that link out of here. We don't need it. All right. We don't want your stinking money.
There we
Keep it.
go. Look at that.
There
Now
we
it's
go.
scrolling across the bottom.
Nice.
That looks cool.
All right.
So what are some of the cool perks that people can get on the Indiegogo?
The things that we've got a bunch of stuff on there. So, really, we've got your usual, you can reserve physical copies of the movie. We've got the artwork, the actual artwork coming soon. So I'm hoping to collaborate with a particular artist on this, hoping to be able to announce that soon. A lot of announcements coming. I'm really excited. And so for the perks, all the physical media copy, all those perks are up. There's also perks where you can get a call from Bill Weeden. And as someone who talks to Bill Weeden on the phone way too much, let me tell you, you want this phone call, all right? Even though I talk to this guy multiple times a day, my face lights up every time his fucking name hits my phone because I know this is about to be an experience. So getting a phone call from Bill Weeden, you can record it, you can do whatever. I think we're going to do FaceTimes for that, but we'll see if Bill knows how to do that.
He can figure it out.
Bill is a legend. Bill knows how to FaceTime.
I might know how to do.
He knows how to do it all.
Yeah, look at you. You're here on a remote podcast, all
Exactly.
on your own accord.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have you in the cuck chair for you to be on here. I didn't know that I could just video call you anytime I wanted.
You can.
I love it. So we've also got, you can get called by Mark Torgel.
Oh,
So
so big fan of Mark Torgel.
Big fan of Mark Torgel. Mark Torgel is going to be in the film as well. We are really excited to have Mark and Lisa on, and so Mark, that was a crazy get for us, and he's ready to go. He's just as excited about the film as we are.
How did that come about?
Which part?
The Mark Torgel coming about into this film.
I asked Mark Torgel if he wanted to be in it, and
Oh, nice.
I showed him the script, and I said, "Which part you want to play?" And he said that one, and he chose the right one. Mark knows his image.
He didn't want to play funk, did he?
He did not want to play funk.
All right.
He knew better.
Making sure you haven't been recast.
But if he had been, I'd have to. Mark Torgel. But no,
one of the grandkids then.
All right, one of my grandkids. No, he chose a great part, and I think we're gonna, AJ, we're gonna make it a little bigger, right? I think
we're gonna beef it up a little bit. I mean, there's it's a nice bit role, but it's like, yeah, I think for what we have planned, we can bring them back. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Bill, now this is a movie you've been trying to get off the ground for a long time. So
yeah,
just I would like to ask, like, why is it so important? And like, what's the feeling now that, like, you've got the cast together, you've got a director, and it looks like this is happening.
Yeah, it does look like it's happening, and it is happening, and it started out. I don't know whether you know how it started. It's so weird. There's a guy named Jack Russell. Have you heard of Jack Russell?
Yeah, he's in the chat here. Yeah,
Jack's
he's watching right now here.
He's in the what? I'm sorry.
He's in the chat room here. He's watching the show right now.
Yeah. So Jack Russell saw a screen grab from the Once and Future Smash. Remember the shot? It's the first shot of me in the movie where I'm standing by the carousel at the airport, and I'm walking with I think a bag in my hand. I don't know whether he said, "You look like you could be fighting punks." I love
it. I didn't know this.
And I'm pretty sure Jack thought of the title Our Man Funk. I thought, this is weird. So I said, I never thought of that. It never even crossed my mind that a man my age could be fighting punks. But this is a very interesting idea, and I'm going to see where my head takes me. So Jack and a guy named Frank Soma and I wrote the bare bones script, and it took off from there. Yeah, and I think I thought it just can't be like I'm fighting punks. There's got to be a reason for it. So I think that came up with the family revenge, So and it did become in a weird way Death Wish meets Parenthood. And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Now, Adrian, have you directed a feature before?
Not a feature.
Oh.
So it's very exciting for you.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think I've been really selective on what I mean, there's been a lot of things come and go, and the thing that really drew me to this, me specifically, was that the family is a mixed race family. So I come from a mixed race family, which Bill didn't know until after we shot Once and Future Smash, which I was like, hey, I'm in there. Nobody knows what I am. This is great.
It reminds me of a running joke we had when we were making.
I'll never understand, and you may not be able to grasp this fact, but it's the truth. We shot all the scenes for Once and Future Smash in one weekend at Monster at Mad Monster Party. Mad Monster Party at Mad Monster Party in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I spent the weekend with AJ. Okay, I never grasped two things about AJ all weekend. First of all, that he was mixed race. I thought he was white. And second, that he had one leg. I thought he had two because he carries it so incredibly gracefully and well that I didn't even know he had one leg. So went through the entire weekend thinking he was a white man with two legs.
Good thing he didn't rob you or something, you know? Like,
And
have the detective, can you describe this guy? Yeah, he's a white guy. You know, two legs,
which is always something you say.
He's missing an eye, though, I think.
Yeah.
I don't...
That's why they never catch me.
Yep, exactly. Like the shadow, you know.
So that was it was funny to hear that. I was like, wow, you didn't notice either of these things. That's crazy. But it was a wild weekend. I'll give him that, where we didn't sleep much and we filmed an entire feature film. So, you know, shout out to Michael and Sophia for that. They are out of their minds, but they do really well with stuff like that.
They're so great. And Neil, and without Neil, I couldn't have made it through. That was the first time. That was the first time I'd met you in person, right, Neil? I think so.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for Smash. Yeah, it was the first time we met in person. We talked on the show, but the first time we actually met each other. Yeah, it was definitely a very wild time to get all of it done in a few days, because you know you can't like, hey, everyone, stay at this convention for an extra day so we have a backdrop for this movie. And yeah, it was a wild time, a lot of moving parts, a lot of, you know, people you have no control over. And but
I got to imagine when you're at a convention and there's a million people running in every
and you also have to try to stay out of the way of, you know, people there that are there to sell things, you know, so you don't want to just get in front of them and block them. Sorry, James Balsamo out there, because we did block your table a lot during the movie. But
we did a movie. So
yes.
It's a trade, right?
Yeah, he's in the
he's
in the movie multiple
movies
times
while you were doing that. So
yeah, right. He filmed 5 or 6 movies while
we were definitely hard on James Balsamo during the film.
He deserves it though.
I think he loved it. I think secretly, I think he still answers all of my messages, so I think he secretly loved it. But there was the costume party scene.
He was mean.
Well, I told him before I went on stage, I said, hey, we're filming this scene. He said, yeah, I know. I said, be so mean to me, dude. Be so mean to me. I said, if you can get everyone to start booing me, that will help us. And he went off. He was actually hurting my feelings at a certain, because I'm like, okay, too mean. He's like, this skinny idiot on. I'm like, whoa, like relax, dude. But he went really hard, and it was hilarious. It was his
he
calling.
got the crowd to hate him.
I gave him the green light, and then I acted so sad, and then we just left. And so there were people, this is what's not in the movie. A couple people came up and handed me cash after the costume contest. And they said, I'm so sorry about what that man said about you and what he did to you.
This could be a whole side project for you. You could have James just belittle you in public and people pay you some money.
Yeah, we're like a team.
Yeah, you get the sympathy card going.
It's like a grift.
That's awesome.
It's like a grift.
The first lady handed me money, and I was so confused, and she was already gone before I could even think of anything to say. And by the time the second person handed me money, I told Michael Epstein, I said, we need to leave because these people think this was real. And he goes, okay, let's get out of here. And we left. Apparently, James got chased down with pitchforks all night because we didn't tell everybody we were filming. And
I approve.
Yeah, I felt bad about that, but I did laugh really hard when he told me about it.
A little pitchfork now and then, that James.
Michael says I still have a headache from the convention, primarily being around Neil so much.
Oh,
I-
poor
I-
guy.
Pain.
Nah, I just getting that part. What were you saying, Bill?
Michael said that. Was that Michael Epstein?
Oh yeah, he's just kidding. He still has a headache from being at the convention, and he says I'm editing a movie for James to make up for it.
Mhm. Is that the
No,
one where he's a vampire?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I've been in two of James's movies since then.
Oh, have
Of course,
you?
I film myself at home. That's the way he films movies.
Yeah, shout out to James. Oh, he's a good dude.
Guy makes a lot of movies. I don't know how he does it.
Have you seen his joke books?
No, I would
He
like
has,
to
like,
though.
Ton books. Books. And they're all right.
I like Mr. Balsamo. You know, I think he's a really
He's an easy
funny,
guy,
wild
right?
guy.
He is a very wild guy.
I grew up
A
on
lot of
Adult
fun.
Swim, so when I see James, I'm like, big smiles. You know, got big statues and shit. Like he's a wild guy. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need more people like that.
I agree, and then it's a bigger smile when you're finally away from him.
Is Thomas
Got him.
Pee-wee's house in the movie? I imagine James Balsamo's house like a dirty Pee-wee's Playhouse.
It's kind of Pee Wee's Playhouse-ish, which
I love Pee-wee.
I love Pee Wee, man. That's my jam.
Watch this Christmas special.
Yeah.
Thing of
Yeah.
Beauty.
I think we should disabuse Annabelle of the fact that our man Funk is a total sausage factory, because it's not. There's a couple of very important women parts in there.
Well, she said sausage fest, so I definitely don't want anyone thinking we're making sausages at the sausage factory.
Where can I order our man
Yeah.
fun sausage?
we are not a sausage factory. We're a sausage fest, okay?
I meant sausage fest.
No. I think it's hilarious. Also, he's right. But who were you about to say, Bill?
I was about to say that there are two very important women parts. The matriarch of the family, my
Mhm.
daughter, who's African American,
This is tough. I love her.
and her daughter, who is African American as well. It's a mixed family. It's like a Brady Bunch. The father's white, his son is white, the mother's black, and her two children are black. But we never quite figured out whether they're a mixed race family or whether they came together from
Like
previous.
an adoption scenario.
We definitely
Adrian's pretty solid on this.
we figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got good research on how that works.
Mhm.
I leave that up to AJ totally, because what's AJ's somewhat outrageous sensibilities to take care of all this stuff.
Yeah, you guys should not have put me at the helm. But playing the mother, the matriarch, is Jasmine Hanks, and she is legit. She's kick-ass. I mean, she's ready to go for anything. So I'm like, hey, Jazz, would you be cool with
She's
this?
here watching too. So.
Oh, nice.
Jazz is
What
S.
a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, I mean she's definitely a looker. So it'll be cool to have her as the mom, and she's also a badass. So it gives that little edge that makes sense when the children start helping Grandpa viciously murder people.
That sounds so great.
I love.
Oh, great.
The thing is, I sometimes call Bill with an idea, and I think, all right, this is the one. This is the one where he fires me. Where I send in this
You
idea.
crossed the line.
I'm a habitual line crosser, so I'm like, here we go. Bill's gonna be done, and he'll call me, and I'm like, oh shit. He's not even a message. He's calling me, and he's like, I am elated. This is great. And then we just ham it up for 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I like your brain, buddy. You like my brain? Let's go.
Yeah. There's one.
He's here. Thanks. Go on, sorry, Bill.
There's one addition he suggested that's so outrageous and it's so great. I'm not going to talk about it.
Thanks.
It has to do with.
No teaser? Is it an unteasable tease? Like it'll give it away?
Well, you can tease. It's fine.
It's if you who's the guy that was caught on Zoom jacking off? Who's that guy?
Anthony Weiner?
Troy Jones?
Yeah, the legal expert from CNN. What's his name?
I remember when this happened recently.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know the name, but I remember when this happened.
During the show?
Probably
That,
not.
that's a little tease. It's about that general subject, right, AJ? Is that enough?
Yes.
You know,
That was one of the scenes I was like, I don't know, but you're making it work, and I love it.
Listen to this. In the Once and Future Smashes, Neil knows very well, and AJ knows very well because they were there. I debuted my junk.
Yes, I do. It's my favorite behind-the-scenes picture I've ever taken on anything. Yeah.
And since then, I have featured the self-same junk in one.
At least it's not a different pair. That would be very strange. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I can still hear you.
Special Needs Revolt, and something else, and some other movie, and then I filmed the Trauma movie, the Power of Positive Murder. You've heard of that movie?
Yeah.
It's really seriously just my opinion, but it's going to be a lot of people's. It's going to be Trauma's best movie. It's really going to be really, really good. It's filmed in black and white. It looks like a great film noir. It's got it's a version of Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
It's an adaptation, sort of. Anyway, I'm sitting at lunch with Debbie Rochon and Amanda Flowers and Adam Peltier, who plays the lead. And he's going to be in Our Man Funk too, by the way. But I'm sitting there at lunch with them, and I'm talking to them about all these nudity things that I've been doing. Okay, so they said, you got to be nude in this movie too. And there's a perfect scene for you to be nude in. So
I'm sure they didn't have to twist your arm. Yeah,
I have something of the
I'm
weed.
that, but what about Lloyd Kaufman? What's he going to say?
Oh Lord.
Oh, come on. That's a spoiler alert. And that's Did you draw that, Annabelle?
Yes,
You
I
did.
From
That's
imagination.
Yes. No, this was a photo provided.
Before she even met you, she drew that.
Look at that. Bill, sex symbol.
It's gorgeous. I want it.
I sent it to you.
I said, is Lloyd Kaufman going to go for that? And they said, absolutely. And we went to Lloyd and said, is it okay with you if Bill is nude in that scene? He says, yes. Again, it strikes. And if you watch a little video, it's a promo for Our Man Funk. AJ says we're gonna have Bill Weeden be naked in this movie too. So it's gonna happen. And AJ thought up the perfect context for it.
Even though we were
There's not a lot of people known for being nude in all their movies. So, bravo, Bill.
And somebody reviewed Psycho 8 2 and said this 84-year-old actor is being nude. What is that about?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is a new life for Bill.
I like this our man junk.
That is meme material.
Action star and sex symbol from Jack Russell.
So we've been talking about this Bill being a sex symbol thing for a while, and this is a conversation among many circles that I conversate with.
Really should Todd quality Jaeger in there with a leather strap, but he lives out in California. We can't afford Todd quality Jaeger unless something happens.
Yeah,
maybe you can film something out there and inject it in. Well,
he's a beautiful man.
Yeah,
that was a moment for Bill. Both of you have a very special friendship. I adore it.
I love it.
Very special.
Lovely.
Todd Jaeger is a great guy.
He is
special for me.
Wonderful man.
Yeah, he is.
Very, very nice guy. He's a regular here on the show, does some reviews for us, and just an all-around good guy.
Yeah.
And Neil created a great T-shirt with Todd and me on it.
It is very excellent.
I'm very proud of it. Yes,
it's great. It was one of the best T-shirts ever.
It's one of my best-selling shirts too. So,
really?
Are you kidding? No,
but yeah, for the hippie dick one is actually the best-selling 8-bit shirt
that is
I made.
That is a great
no
one.
way.
Yeah,
go Todd.
They're all from Todd, but they sell a lot. No.
Thousands of shirts.
He has one of every color.
Yeah. Gives them away to everybody for Christmas and stuff.
Chris Wakefield from Horror Homeschool, he bought one, I know.
Yeah, a lot of people have bought them. And by the way, anyone out there, if you buy whatever, any kind of something I've created or without your head thing, whatever, send in a picture. I'd love to have it, and we'll post it on the website.
Dude, the 8-bit shirts are so cool. I have been telling you for years, and what I think needs to happen is some idiot programmer needs to get a hold of you and create a fucking game with your sprites, buddy.
That'd be awesome.
There may be someone we both know that you mentioned. Yeah. So
yes. Let's get up that idiot. Come on.
He's a good guy with a cool mohawk.
He's a great guy.
Funk.
One of my favorite.
Nice.
Nice shirt. Yeah.
Amazing. That looks great. Who did the art?
And see what's happening in that shirt?
Oh, it's awesome.
This guy is getting cake of soap down the throat.
Mm-hmm.
So those shirts, we've got a couple of funk shirts floating around right now. They're on Redbubble, and those do go towards production.
Nice.
So people have been buying shirts. There's shirts, hats, fucking coffee mugs. There's stickers. Yes, there's so much stuff, and so really like that. The donate, like the Indiegogo is great, and we have so many backers already, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome, and more keep coming. People are really supporting it, but the shirts also support the movie. Every stream we have is just going on screen.
Nice.
It's going to be fun, and we want it to be fun. And so please support really all of these things, even the shirt. I love the shirt. There's a support Bill Weeden shirt that just has Bill's face giant on it. Yep.
My wife Dolores has that shirt, and I got this shirt. And we can take a picture of the two shirts.
Yes.
That's very, very cute.
I'm going to.
Yeah. I'll include the Redbubble link on after this is off and on the website and everything too.
Great.
I'm going to check out that Redbubble link.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be a Nasty Neil 8-bit submitted for and all that can go towards our man Funk too.
Dude, regardless of where it goes, I would love a Nasty Neil 8-bit Our Man Funk shirt. Those things are legendary, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
You nailed it.
I think Bill has more. There's more versions of Bill in my 8-bit than even myself, and everyone knows how big of an egomaniac I am.
I got a
he knows him.
I got a Psycho Ape. I got it 152 Smash. I got the one with Todd and me, and that's it so far, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and then the cool one Troy drew. Yeah,
there's other ones where Kansas is in them, and she's saying, "Oh, that's not a T-shirt," but she's saying, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, I should make that into a shirt too. But yeah, that is a cool one, and I like AJ's idea of the games. But
you need a game. God, it'd be so cool.
So who can you do into that game? Probably
Was
not
that-
licensed people.
I was
but,
disappointed
you
in
know,
Neil.
people.
After that year that you had that wonderful calendar, you didn't do it again. The
I know
calendar
Troy talked about that too.
Yeah.
We need to do one.
was
We'll do
awesome.
one
do
this
one.
year. Yeah.
Are you
Definitely.
doing
Eight
guys
big
and
guys.
fries?
There's lots of different ideas.
I just
Guys
noticed.
and fries.
I just noticed that Troy has a braided beard, right?
It
Oh,
looks good, Troy.
Thank
I
you.
love that
You're
style.
welcome. I think it looks great. I think it's your best beard I've seen.
Okay, I will keep it.
Oh, please do. It's great.
I can grab them by it.
I might dye it green or something. though.
Cool. I love it.
That would be good too.
That's a cool thing about going gray. Like you can just dye it fun colors and stuff.
Someday my hair will go gray and I will embrace my silver.
Well, I saw pictures of when we were making Psychwave 2 and my beard. I'm like, look how black and stupid that looks. So then I stopped using Just for Men, and now it's just natural. It's kind of grayish, brownish, but it looks a lot better, I
That's
think.
cool.
Bill
A little
Weeden
salt
has
and pepper.
amazing locks.
I don't call my hair gray. It's white.
It's
It's
white.
silver.
It is.
I think gray sounds old and silver sounds hot.
Silver, yeah. Silver sounds
Yeah.
It
distinguished.
is silver.
The Silver
The
Fox, Bill
silver
Weeden.
fox, exactly. Yep.
Exactly.
I'll tell you a little secret, which I'm going to be telling to all your viewers. My eyebrows naturally are the same color as my hair. I fix it every day.
Mm.
Well, it does make them pop.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, but at least you don't go like crazy jet black because like a guy I used to work with looked like he had two giant like caterpillars on his head. Like, just didn't work.
No, they look good.
Yeah,
black.
those-
But they're not crazy jet black.
They look natural to me. I would have
Yeah.
never known.
I mean, Bill, I'm just going to ask the question that everybody's wondering. But does the carpet match the drapes?
oh,
We'll find out in Our Man Funk.
that was a great setup. Like,
There's a
you
guy.
and AJ could be the new like Abbott and Costello. I like that.
There's a guy on Instagram named his handle is New York Nico. Have you heard of New York Nico? He's got 1 million followers, literally about 750,000 followers. And he interviewed me and said, "You have the best eyebrows in New York City. They're even better than Martin Scorsese."
Nice.
What?
Sweet. That's a great compliment.
Yeah.
It is.
Boy,
Turned out,
on your
man.
resume.
No
Todd's
man.
letting you know no manscaping or no more spanking from Todd, he says.
What is manscaping? I don't even know
That's
what
when
it
you
is.
trim it out. Keep it neat.
What is it?
It's
Say again.
Neat.
when
Your-
you trim the
under-
carpet.
Yeah. Your
Oh.
pubes, man. It's down and shape them.
What can I say about okay boomer? I have no idea, but any of the slang stuff. I
If he
don't
has no idea,
No,
the
honey, you
answer is
don't
probably that
do
he
it.
does not do it. Then.
Yeah, he's probably safe.
Do
Tell
I do
Todd he's safe, I
the
think.
pubic hair, Bill? That is what it is. It is trimming it into its trim.
Well, that's another great segue. Speaking of Bill's pubic hair, we're about to put out the petition to launch his
I thought it was a new
OnlyFans.
perk.
Stop it.
Maybe we're
We're going to put out a petition to launch an OnlyFans for Bill, and so
Yeah.
I've gotten like a few weird requests, and I'm like, okay, there seems to be like some demand for this out there, and as far as my research shows, there's not really a lot of people in Bill's demographic on OnlyFans, and I think that's a crime.
Hmm.
I'm all for it.
I'm
Yep.
signing up.
Well, we'll be releasing the petition on Our Man Funk's page,
Nice.
Facebook page, pretty soon. But I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. So
It says
Amazing.
what's the big
Bill,
This
did
is
you
the most
ever
we've ever.
imagine this in your world, Bill? Ever in your earlier years?
Yes.
Would you ever imagine that
Yeah.
your body is all over film, that you will have an OnlyFans group, that you're being drawn new? There's Bill, you are in demand.
I am for it. I'm all for it. Whatever you want to do is okay with me. That's my motto.
Todd will accommodate. I promise.
Think of me. It's none of my business.
This is the most we've ever talked about pubic hair on the show.
We win.
And for everything. No,
Well-
mask, please. I still haven't got it. I'll look it up later. I'll Google it.
Oh, the manscaping.
I don't know about recommend.
Check it
probably
out.
wouldn't recommend that, but
Google images. Place to go.
all right. So our man Funk's on Indiegogo. Go there, get all the cool perks. You can also get all kinds of cool shirts on Redbubble. Not just shirts, stickers, all the cool stuff.
Get
all
a call
different designs.
from Mark Torgel. Get whatever.
Nakamiko. There's all kinds of cool people involved.
There are.
Lisa Gay.
It's going to be a really, really great movie. I'm convinced of it.
So we'll be doing a table read, I believe, in a few weeks, a couple weeks. That's exciting. I moved. It was on the same night as Severed Limbs. That's why I moved Severed Limbs to February, so I can be at the table read. It's totally fine.
It's
So
on
it's
Sunday.
all good. Yeah,
That's Severed Limbs is on Sunday.
it normally was, but I moved it till February, so don't worry about it. It's gonna
Thank
be a
you.
good time.
Bless you.
Plan that calendar for 2026. You got to have that calendar come back.
I agree.
It was a great calendar. I was so sorry we didn't get another one.
The next one we're all gonna be Manscaped.
All right, that'll be this year's calendar. Our next year's
I'll
calendar.
be a couple
They'll
boys.
just get close up on only.
Boom.
You can-
Then you have
Right,
to get
yeah.
who's who. You know.
I like this.
That's my
I'm gonna need a heads up.
Mhm. Mhm.
I might do the matching like braid. You never know. You know?
Oh yeah, I'm down for this.
Oh man.
Love
Probably
you,
like
man.
Mr. Natural. Just grow the beard, like to my feet, and then like I could be.
And you know, like do the like you could.
You could braid them together.
Yeah,
like a
that's
rope.
true. Yeah.
If you grew the beard to your feet, then we couldn't see your other braid.
Yeah, that's true. But like then I could just walk around naked all the time.
Throw one braid over your
never
shoulder
know,
and the other
yeah.
one around your waist. Yeah.
All right,
That would be a look.
be like a belt. Yeah, I like
Mhm.
Wait something, Troy. Do you braid that yourself? What do you do?
Oh, this one, yeah, it's easy. Like, what I have to have the missus do like the mop. She can braid it, but I'm no good at that myself. But the beard's easy. I can just twiddle it together.
So you're married. I didn't even know that.
Well, long time
Long.
relationship. Yeah, we
They've been together since high school, but they're not
But
like
they're not-
actually married. But
It's
they're
not
not basically
Common law marriage, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no common law in Massachusetts.
Hey, hey, hey.
Just
like, I
the
wish there
survivor
was.
of a long-term relationship. You know,
Well, that
And
means, that
they
means it's
do
more
have
real.
children together, so it's basically
just all of our kids have 4 legs and tails. You know, that's the only thing.
exactly. This is exactly
Easier that way. That's why
Yeah.
B and I get along so well.
They're so cute. I need to see the turtle sometime.
I'll bring the tortoise down one of these
Yeah,
days. I'll bring
tortoise.
Al down.
I'd be
I haven't seen the tortoise for a while myself. I think every time I've been over Troy's house lately, he's in hibernation or she's in hibernation.
Yeah, when she's active, she'll be active for days, and then like, I guess if you live long enough, you know, then you can take like 3 days and sleep, and then
Would
party
you
down for a
want-
couple.
tortoise on set.
Oh,
Is
I don't
there
know.
a
I don't know how she'd react with it. At
lady
least
tortoise?
everybody's an adult. She'd be all right, I think.
She can be another female. The lady.
You know, they always asked me to bring her to the school when I worked at an elementary
Aw,
school.
of course.
And I'm like, I know these kids. I don't want them touching my tortoise. Like my tortoise in one piece. Thank you.
Yeah, do like a Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
You retired, right, Troy? You're no longer there.
Yep.
Right.
Just retired last year.
Yeah, so I put him to
Iron
work
February.
making stuff.
Yep.
Mhm.
Neil's been cracking the whip on me ever since.
Mm.
Arbor Day, all the way.
Yeah, you guys talking about that yet, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a part of that.
You
Yeah.
better be.
I know.
Me
I'm
too.
Both of
stoked.
you buggers better be.
I'm stoked. Double
Sweet.
feature,
Yeah.
baby.
the plan is to like right after Funk the next week we're start on probably like the next day start on Arbor Day, and it'll work out because Michael and Sophia be involved and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
I'm
So
in,
where is Bill
Yeah.
going to be?
I'm in Arbor Day, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, is he going to be local?
I have some strange name that I can't figure out what it means. Strange character name.
yeah.
Very weird.
Oh, you're Nordic.
Some-
Yes, he's a
It's Nordic. I keep thinking it's Dutch, but it's not. It's Scandinavian, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can. I mean, we
I
can.
want to play Bill's child in a movie. That's
But
what I want to do.
here's the
Yes.
here's the
I think
question:
we can pull that off.
am I going to break my nudity streak, or can I?
Oh,
I do not have you nude in the movie, but if it is a demand, I guess we could we'll
See,
work it out.
we're
No, no.
continuing with our man. Frank, so
You.
I do think it would be an interesting twist to have Nordic Man be actually Troy as a descendant of this man,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
I
that
mean,
would
look
actually
into
work
that.
because
I
it
don't
would be, that would work out actually.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Then you could be not quite a son, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and
that's
then
a-
AJ and I are
okay.
actually we're talking too about another project down the road later in the year that we
You
might
guys are
put together.
AJ and you are?
Yeah,
busy buggers. I'll tell
Uh
you.
oh. AJ is. You mean our man Funk is just a stepping stone for you?
No,
AJ?
no, it's a completely different thing. So,
Oh, I sense a Dabbleverse moment.
oh,
here,
you're
I like
very
it.
correct.
I like that the Indiegogo site is scrolling across the screen.
Yeah. People can check that out. And I want the link everywhere. I'll put it everywhere on the website, on all the social media pages, and right here on the YouTube page.
That's great. That's
Of
great.
course, I'm happy to help. I'm very excited
one
to be
of my
part of it.
children.
And I'm
And-
really excited that AJ is part of it. I'm a huge
And
fan of
you're doing-
AJ and you, Bill.
What's it called? An 8-bit? That thing you do is called an 8-bit?
Yeah, sprites.
Yep,
Yeah,
8
pixels.
AJ, because AJ hasn't been 8-bit yet.
I have
Yeah.
actually.
He has, yeah. It's just in the movie. It's in Smash, but it's not like online.
Oh, it's in Smash, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
unreleased.
I have to have a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
I think we've all been 8-bitted, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Haven't
you
we?
have.
I think-
When?
You're in the Arbor Day.
Oh, okay, that's true. It's pretty cool. Thanks. The things have been rocky over here. On that.
Oh, let's go. Let's talk about it.
Oh no, for me myself, you don't want to hear about my dog.
Oh, okay. I thought we had some fun drama. I was like, damn, man.
It's not
Oh, hey,
drama.
People, it's
No.
impossible not to get along with me.
We usually pretty drama free in the Headyverse.
I know. You guys are great.
Try.
I spent a solid week with Neil just bitching and complaining, and he was so nice and kept his positive, super positive demeanor the entire time.
On the inside.
So when we did End Zone 2, that's where I first met AJ, and immediately, I think you agree, we immediately bonded right away. We had similar sense of humor, and right away I was like, oh, this is a cool guy, and we liked each other and made silly jokes on the set all the time. So I was really happy that the movie turned out so good. Then we did Smash, and now working on this. So yeah, it's all good.
I'm so glad that's how you remember it, because I'm when I watch back that BTS, I'm like, oh, this is 8 nice people on set and 1 psychopath, which is me, just screaming nonsense the entire time. I called Sophia immediately and I was like, hey, I just watched that BTS. I am so sorry for how I was acting on set. And she's like, no, dude, you're fine. It was terrible. But, so she's really cool. She always understands when I act like a.
I'm glad they put out the extended cut of the BTS on YouTube, because there is a cool documentary that they cut down on the Blu-ray, but they put it like a longer one on YouTube, because I recorded 15 or 16 hours of stuff. So
Dude, you recorded the whole time. Like you were recording
Oh, wow.
nonstop. I was like, this is going to be its own movie.
I'm gonna have
It
to
was
check that out. I was unaware.
yeah,
Send
it's
me
very
the
cool.
link. I'm very curious because I heard about it at the time. Neil was there, and
Yeah, it's a very funny story.
amazing
When we were doing Enzo 2, and it was at night, we we're all sitting around like the fire, and I mentioned, I was like, Annabelle just said there's like a cool moon outside, and Tristan's just like, well, who's Annabelle? And then then it was like a running joke. It was just like some imaginary friend of mine.
Nice, I like it.
They'd be like, "Hey Neil, here's your pancakes. Does Annabelle want some?"
I even
Neil's
took
talking
pictures.
to his pinky, like, Annabelle, you want any?
I took pictures like in the airport, and it's just me, and I took a picture of like through the space, and I was like, and I sent it to Tris. I was like, oh, me and Annabelle's getting on the plane.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
Named Annabelle. Huh? Wasn't there a
Me?
horror movie about a doll? Named
Oh, yeah.
Boo. That was after I came out.
Right.
yeah, you came first.
25 hours of raw footage. So,
Wow.
That's
That they
crazy.
went through. It's
yeah,
very
yeah, they did it. I'm sure a lot of it's nothing happening because you're recording, you don't know. Like, I don't know if something cool is going to happen.
Well, you know what it's like to edit, especially the old videos when we would record.
Yeah, when we used to.
Imagine these people. That was like 5 hours and it sucked. I mean, the time together was great, but when
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to edit, it was.
He's like 5 hours with this guy really sucks.
Oh, I never want to do that again.
Back in the day of Denny's. So,
Yeah.
Denny's.
Yeah, it's hard to find 24-hour places now. But anyway, Our Man Funk, or Our Man Junk, as Michael likes to call it. We are very excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone here is welcome on anytime. And we'll have some more guests coming on for Our Man Funk. And Zach and Miko will be on. I'll set that up soon.
Yeah, you
So
guys
I
are
can-
like family. You can show up like if
course.
we're interviewing somebody else. It's
Oh,
all good.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
All right. Oh, and AJ, you'll get to meet Troy. Out
That's
here,
true.
so.
Finally.
Nice.
Bill's never met Troy either, have you?
No.
in person.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, cool. That'd be good.
When we get to meet
That'll
Troy.
be fun.
Well, Bill,
when
I'm
when
gonna
you're out-
drag your ass up to from Boston, and we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
go
we'll go to Boston and meet you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. We'll come
you
up.
going?
Troy will
We'll
come
go
up
to
with
Hot
me.
Pot or something.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah, and then you can be out there for a day or two, and then I'll get your ass back home after
Yeah.
that.
And I'm gonna bring my friend Andrew up for a day to for Funk to meet you guys, introduce him to everybody. He's
That'd
a
be
cool kid.
awesome.
He's so cute.
Oh,
Bill,
he's a sweet kid.
Bill, you look peeved.
Uh-oh.
I look peeved.
Are you good with the plan? he's like, I'm gonna what now? I'm gonna do what?
Like, I'm not going to Hot Pot with anybody.
That's one of my it's on my bucket list. Meet Troy Jones.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah.
Annabelle come out. She better come out.
You got to make the scene.
It'll be a good time. All right, guys. Well, it's wonderful talking to you both.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Always
Great to
fun.
see you both.
Thank you.
you guys
Very
so much.
excited.
Yeah. Our Man Funk. Look at that shirt by AJ Cutler, an AJ Cutler original.
Thank you.
Show the shirt again there, Bill. I put
Yeah.
you on solo.
What am I
Show
doing?
show the shirt again.
Sure.
Tip that shirt.
There you
Yeah.
go. Boom.
Why am I by myself here suddenly?
I was just trying to show the shirt.
Yeah, you had to show off the shirt.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Great show, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
I get out of here.
I'll get you out.
He's trapped. There's
Nope.
no escape.
Whoa, now we're all like super
Da-da-da-da.
close. How do I get out? There we go.
Neil doesn't want any of that. No BS.
Yeah, you guys are way too close to me.
All right. So yeah, we love AJ. We love Bill. That was a great time
yeah.
catching up. Oh, I see what happened.
Music
I'm
was on board. This is going to be a whole other film.
Yeah.
This is
I just
going
noticed that it doesn't matter. But I'm logged in on the in your head. I have two different logins on my laptop, in your head and without your head. That's why it was the same.
Oh, okay.
Will we have a brief break, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's streaming on the right. Yeah, it's streaming on the right. I was hoping it wasn't streaming on the wrong YouTube page, but it's not. It's not. I did that one time actually.
Probably
yeah, there was actually when we played that game where you had to throw the poop. What the hell was the game?
It was an awesome game. Oh, it wasn't called Poop Shoot, was it? Because
Poop Shoot.
What's called Poop
Are you
Shoot?
guys just making crazy things up, or was this when you were in prison? What are we doing?
Brooklyn, right?
Was it?
I think it was Brooklyn.
It was either, or was it Worcester?
Oh, well,
it was either Brooklyn or Worcester, wherever you play Poop Shoot, and we're in the hotel playing Poop Shoot. And I streamed it on the wrong YouTube, so it was streaming on In Your Head.
So Poop Shoot, for those who go ahead.
But that is actually how Coast started watching Without Your Head.
Yeah, whenever there's Poop Shoot, he'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
For y'all who are not aware, is this little toy toilet.
Oh, okay.
And then you're back from the little toy toilet, and you've got little like catapults that you have your finger like a seesaw, and it flips these little poops, and they're all different little poops with different faces. Some are like
they're all different shapes, or
I think the same shape, but there's
I think they're all poop shaped, but they have different faces.
Oh, they definitely look all like poop.
Yeah,
and there's 3 different colors, and they did have different faces, and you're against each other. Who can flip the most poops in the toilet? It's pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah, it's a very good
I'd play
game.
it again.
Yeah, I might have to bring it when we do the movie.
Bring the Poop Shoot.
Yeah.
Bring the Poop Shoot.
All
right. So now what? Gonna take a
All right, we're gonna go to a break quick, and then we'll come back.
How long is the break gonna be, perhaps?
However you want. How long do you want? I've got some trailers here lined up.
How many trailers you got? You get 5 minutes?
6 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. All right, we're gonna play.
Troy's out there. Troy's set it to 6 minutes. I'll take it.
All right, we're gonna play Through the Trees here.
Oh.
We got a few. Through the Trees, Grafted, The Blade Cuts Deep. Here we go.
Excruciating pain. Pardon me. Hate to interrupt.
What do you want?
Well, it's time to prepare yourself. Tonight at midnight, we begin. That's right. You're a smart one. That's why we had to wait and watch you for so long.
What are you going to do to me?
Small ritual. The ritual has 3 phases. First phase is simple enough. Blood sacrifice. The second phase, well, now, that is a little more complicated. The vessel, that's you. Oh. Never. My girl.
What's the third phase?
Demon in some eyes, He will build a beautiful utopia on Earth. Does that sound like something a demon would do?
You really are insane.
We'll see. It's almost midnight. I must prepare our special guest.
I just tell stories. And people love them. It doesn't matter what you've done. It only matters what they see. there.
All right, and we're back here once again. It's been a really wild show.
It's been the spectrum of
Emotions have been everywhere this episode.
they have been everywhere. My goodness. But
Yeah, so
Great.
thanks Robert LaSardo, Bill Weeden, AJ Cutler. It's been a wild show. Next week we will not be live Thursday. Something's going on. Hopefully
for
we'll all
us?
be at. Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, something's
Yeah.
going on. Can you share what it is?
I don't think I could share that particular one because I think it's a secret screening. But we will say that Round the Decay is going to be playing at Coolidge After Midnight coming up in a couple weeks. So
Ooh.
that's very
Go
exciting.
see it, folks.
Very nice.
It's a good one.
And somebody here may have been hired to do an Around the Decay 8-bit design coming up very
Ooh.
soon.
Excellent.
Nice.
It'll probably be my biggest thing ever because there's like 20-something characters, but it'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
You're right.
along.
The challenge, Chief.
Yeah. Also, speaking of that, really cool. Troy, not Troy here, but a different Troy Mikowski. He put out Worm Man. Now, this is a comic book.
I love that.
Troy Mikowski, New England filmmaker. He's a very cool guy.
You blow
And
yourself up?
his daughter created Worm Man.
Okay.
Check this
And
out.
then a young daughter. And then
Ooh.
he made it into a comic book based off these characters that she created.
Too cool.
Dr. Beast sounds awesome.
And so
Explain it, Dr.
I like his shadow. There.
Oh, he's cute. Oh,
He is a
Worm.
worm. I love
and
him.
then
Big
he sent
W.
this because in the back, look at the special.
Oh, I remember when you made those.
Yeah. So this is great. So check out Worm Man. I'm not sure if it's available yet for sale. This was, a advanced copy.
Mhm.
But thank you. This is really
That's
wild.
awesome.
And the whole backstory is great. We should get Troy on the show sometime.
that would be great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
A nice guy.
His
We met him
daughter
briefly
did
at Buff.
His daughter made it?
What?
Who made it?
His daughter.
That's what I thought. Would
Yeah,
she
yeah.
come on? She should come on.
Yeah. She I
Yeah,
think we
both
even
of
made
them
a
on. Yeah.
So I did not color these yet, but this is Troy's sketch pad. So first of all, this is the black and white of the this will be the logo for Severed Limbs. It's coming up in February.
Ooh.
We got the Yeti.
The Yeti, which has also, well, I won't give something away, but so that's very cool. And also, Todd, hopefully you're still here.
Yeah.
I told him I'd make him a better one, because I did that quick sketch.
So this is Todd
Yeah.
at Walmart.
Oh
they
my
only
God.
have the
You did that
DVD.
really fast. That was fast.
Oh, because they only have the DVD. So
I will scan those. I could color both of them if you want, or leave Todd black, whatever he wants.
Are you
yeah,
redoing
however he
Todd
likes.
part 2?
What?
Were you saying you were redoing Todd?
Oh, that was the
No,
redo.
that is the redo.
It looked really good. So
And,
So we will be live Wednesday. I'm not sure if everyone can make it, but we'll be live Wednesday. And Izzy Lee will be joining us for our
nice.
countdown.
Can you tell me about this?
No, it just came up today.
Oh.
So countdown to, we have to do it because we will also premiere the Without Your Head exclusive premiere of the Renegade Film Festival trailer, which will show all of the movies. So we needed to do it next week. So we're going to do that Wednesday.
Well, I will try to figure it out.
All right. Yeah, it just came together. So for our countdown to Renegade, Izzy Lee next week. The week after that, Brian and Lo having it Bradley. And then the first week of February will be Elisa Ovi's. So
Wish we could
Three-
go. Oh my God.
3
It
weeks.
was a great festival.
Yeah.
Great festival. Really fun time. We didn't go last year. We went the year before.
Yeah. It was
Oh my Lord. Great for so many reasons. So many.
Where's that one out of?
Atlanta.
Oh, nice. Atlanta's so much fun.
Atlanta Junior. It was like a little hop, but it was beautiful. It's such a good time. What was that, Todd? It's a little suggestive over there.
Hey, you know,
Todd's official.
everyone's consenting adults here. So but this was last week. So this was the squid.
Yeah.
So both of them are fun. But
He looked too
Neil
much
was
like Bill Gates in that one, so I had to redo him.
So I had to show this. I look. This is dividing people. I'm all about it.
Oh,
boom!
Whoa!
Why are people against this? I think it looks fun as hell.
I think it looks great. So it's David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown, as
Wow.
Steamboat Willie in the upcoming slasher Screamboat. This
I
has
just hope
me.
one of these are going to be good. That's, I'm not offended by the idea or anything. I just wish they were good.
Yeah, this one looks fun though. I've heard that
Yeah.
the Winnie the Pooh 2 is really good, but the first one really didn't make me want to see a sequel. So I should check it out.
Then the Popeye one looks so bad from the trailer.
Really? I think it looks awesome.
Oh, the new one looks great, but do you remember the one before that?
Oh no, yeah. I think that was
Yeah,
just
that
like
one
an
looks
image
so
or something.
terrible.
Yeah.
Which one looks great?
The new
The
Popeye.
new Popeye one looks
Oh,
so
I thought
gruesome.
it looked, just from the screenshot, I was not screenshot, but the still. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this looks like it. Maybe it has something.
I watched the trailer. I'm like, I
Yeah.
think this looks really fun. Honestly.
I think the Steamboat Willie will be cool because it looks like Steamboat Willie is not the villain.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think
You
so.
don't think
It's
so?
Maybe there's
Steamboat
Peg
Willie.
Leg
He's
Pete
got his
running
little,
around too.
spear. He's gonna whoop. It's like a
No,
whaling spear.
He's got like
he
a
looks
big
pretty villain. I think
harpoon
he's
or
the
something
killer.
going.
Yeah. Is he definitely the villain?
I
Couldn't
don't
there be
know.
some-
I don't know.
I don't think he is. Steamboat Willie is on his own damn boat.
Yeah, leave the poor guy alone.
Yeah, right.
You get what you get. You jump on Willie's steamship.
Don't screw with Willie.
Yeah.
I'm coming to get you.
This is Brian Spears' birthday the other day. Happy birthday! And they also got a blackout limited edition Blu-ray sale going on
Texture in
starting
that
today.
nose. I love the texture in the nose. I just noticed it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Wow. Oh, that's way cool.
Big fan of the movie.
Mhm.
And Wolfman opens this weekend.
I guess it's going to be a pretty big year for
Werewolves.
not just werewolves, for Larry's company. I'm struggling. I want to say Wild Eye, but it's definitely not Wild Eye. Who's Larry's people?
Oh, Universal. Oh, but Wild Eye's Larry.
Wild Eye is Larry?
Yeah,
Sure.
not Wild Eye. Glass Eye. Glass Eye.
Glass Eye. I knew it wasn't Wild Eye.
Yeah, Wild Eye is friggin'
That's the whole
shit. But
thing. But Larry's got a big year coming. We should definitely have Larry back, Larry Fessenden, because he just posted, I don't know, today or yesterday, and it was all these things, including new episodes of Tales from Beyond the Pale. Roy knows, all right, is freaking amazing. Oh my god! So that's their radio show.
Yeah, one of my favorite things. I love that so
People
much.
out there haven't heard it, check it out. Tales from Beyond the Pale. It's all over the place. Just look it up.
That's very exciting. Oh, we got to get Larry back on too. I know he was all about coming back on. Maybe we'll try to do that later in February.
That would be great.
I think Neil's a little more hepped up on the Wolfman than I am.
I think it looks good.
I
think the trailer looks good.
Okay.
I'm hopeful. If I can make it, I would love to make it. I thought it was released next week. But
No, it comes out this week. I think it comes out today, actually.
it popped up in my calendar, so we'll see.
I hope it's good, but I just
Scared.
got a bad feeling.
It's tough with the werewolf movies. I get scared of like.
Isn't it Blumhouse too? Blumhouse usually makes pretty nothing movies lately, but
Oh, is it? Is it them?
I think it is.
Oh, I don't know.
Blumhouse.
Oh, Blumhouse. I thought you said
They're making-
Blumhouse, which is not the
Oh.
same. I'm stuck on.
I like the Blue Bunny, the Blue Mouse,
Mm-hmm.
the Blue Fairy.
Yeah, but I mean, I got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the trailer didn't fill me with confidence. I'll just say
No, I
that.
thought the trailer looked good. I thought a lot of the stills did not, but the trailer I thought looked good. When he's jumping on the car and breaks through the windshield, that was pretty scary.
I think it's one to see, even if it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's
I
worth.
probably will go see it. You know,
Don't be a bitch.
unless if you go see it and you loathe it, then I probably won't go. See
I don't know. Well, who knows? I mean, you love some real crap films, so.
That's true.
No, I
Little
just
film
but-
called
Jazz, Neil.
Nosferatu. Nobody
but
likes that.
we have different tastes on a lot of stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Everybody does.
Yep.
Don't we all?
No, I wouldn't say Nosferatu's a crap film. I just am not a huge fan of it.
Very good. It's very.
There's a difference. The internet's guilty of that. It's either like the greatest film ever made on something, or it's like a waste of your time, and like you should sue the world to get your time back. Like there is a big middle ground between like it's kind of good, it's not so good, it's great, but it's not just this is the best or this is the worst thing that's ever been filmed.
And it
Just
could be great.
remember that Orson Welles even had a problem with Citizen Kane. He wished he had done a better bald cap.
Oh.
You know what? I've never
So
seen
if you
Citizen
can
Kane.
criticize your own, like, you know, that everybody says is the perfect movie, and you're like, but is it? You know, and it's my movie, so I can say. And he's right. Like, why didn't you just shave your head, Orson? Come on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I've never seen Citizen Kane.
You haven't? It's a really good movie.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a little
hot
long,
take,
but
It
it's
is
great.
I need to watch it.
Should check it out, man. Beef
So,
up your basic film. I need to as well. Beef up my basic film. You are very good. You've seen stuff I haven't seen as far as like the basic, like film 101.
Yeah, but two omissions from Nasty Neil. He hasn't seen Citizen Kane. He also hasn't seen The Seven Samurai.
Ooh.
Troy will never let me forget this or live it down. I guess I should just watch it.
You should.
You should check it out.
It's a great
There
movie.
was a time where Troy and I I'd suggest movies that he didn't want to watch, and then he'd watch them. And then he'd suggest movies to me that I'd never watch, and then like I probably just never would watch them. But
like that Criterion Collection edition of The Seven Samurai that Neil had for like 5-6 years. Don't pop it into DVD there, Neil. Don't do that.
Dang, Neil, come
That'd
on.
be crazy, you know?
Does he currently have it in his possession?
No, I think I have it back, and I have
Yeah,
nothing to
yeah.
play it on anymore.
Well, I remember there was stuff like Troy was good because the stuff he didn't want to watch. I was like, no, it's good. And then a lot of times oh yeah, this was good. Like was the Tom Hanks movie where he's running around the world or running around the country or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump?
I was
didn't wanna
dragging
watch
my
it.
feet. I was like, I don't want to watch this fucking
Yeah,
thing.
and I was like, this is good. And we actually watched and liked it. Even like Mr. Show, I was like, this is the greatest sketch comedy show ever made, in my opinion. And so then we watched them all. But I did watch all the first season of Star Trek. I mean, the first series, and I didn't want to watch that. But I watched it because Troy was like, "Oh, you should watch it." And I was
Just
like, "Oh yeah,
for-
this pretty show's good."
Even if it's just for the history of entertainment.
Yeah. What happened was this was internet was around, but this was it wasn't streaming anywhere, and Sci-Fi showed them all in order.
Was this
And we
sci-fi
wa-
back when it was spelled properly?
Yes.
Yeah.
When it was actually good.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great at that time. Yeah. And they'd even have interviews with the cast
Yeah, it was
members
really
like
wild.
during the ads. It was great.
That's how I discovered Dark Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Ooh,
Yeah.
now you're talking.
So good.
And then I bought Next Generation. I bought the
Another great series.
and I flew through that. I loved it. I think that was the first thing I binge watched. I bought the
Okay.
set and I watched it all. I was like, this is great. And then I bought Deep Space Nine, and I started
And it
watching
came
it.
to a screeching halt.
Yeah, this isn't good.
Really, anything after Next Generation just.
Oh, see, I love them all except for Deep
Really?
Space. Yeah, like Voyager, I thought was so good, and I dragged my feet going into that series.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Isn't
Captain
that one the one
Janeway,
with
come on.
Janeway? All right,
Yeah.
so she's good.
But it's actually real good. It's got the Raoul from Meeting Raoul is her first mate.
Yeah.
And like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
The only thing that's funny, like, they call him an Indian throughout it. He's a Native American, and it's like, nowadays you watch and you're like, okay, he must be from India, which is strange. It doesn't seem like that kind of person. But in the future, they go back to calling them Native Americans Indians, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And they bring in
Yeah.
another character that's just a terrible waste of time, and all the fans must have hated her because they cut her out and they bring in the Borg woman there, 7 of 9,
oh.
who's great. She's a great character.
Yeah, I need to finish Deep
Smoking
Space
hot.
Nine so I can watch all the rest of these.
Yeah. And then the new ones, like the one with
Yeah, I would like to watch Picard.
Picard's
That
great.
is so good. I don't
Yeah.
think is that done? Because I watched the first season.
They did the second season, which is really good too.
Well, does it feel like there will be another season, or does it feel like there will not be another
I
season?
don't think so. I don't believe so, but we can always be hopeful. And then the one with Doug Jones is he's the captain, and then the first
Really?
mate too. And he's the best alien ever. He looks so inhuman because he's got hooves. They
Wow.
made up these like weird leg prosthetics. He's about 8 feet tall, and he's very like fish looking. He's really great.
He's apparently really good at being a fish creature.
He's really good at not being
Yeah.
human. Yeah.
Wild.
The trailer I showed earlier, Grafted, which is
Yeah.
really good movie. It was a press day interview with Sasha Rainbow, directed it.
Mhm.
I can't play it yet. I'll play it next week sometime. But I know we're very early in the year, but it's my first movie I added to my list of favorite horror movies of 2024.
Wow.
It's similar idea to Substance and some level.
Mhm.
Similar themes about like wanting to look certain ways and stuff like that, but it's a much different movie. Also, more of a mad scientist movie because it's about the scientists making it.
Cool. I'm there.
And very very much a horror movie. Very much a body horror movie. I really liked it a lot.
Is it an evil doctor or just a doctor?
I don't want to give the movie away.
All right. Well, that is hesitant enough for me. I'm there.
Yeah, I think you'd like it a lot. I brought you up in the interview. I was curious what you would think of it, and I think you'd like it.
Nice.
So I was also curious because I asked her if a female audience respond differently than a male audience to the movie because it's a female. It was interesting too. I don't want to give a lot away the movie, but I brought up in the interview that like it's not really about where a lot of times when it's like a female lead character, it's about like them seducing people and stuff, and that's not really what this is about. She's more of the scientist in the movie, so it's interesting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So it was really good.
Well, you liked it enough to put it on your list, so
Yeah.
yeah.
She's a New Zealand filmmaker.
Love to visit there. It seems like a good place to be. People kind of rave about the New Zealand place, so.
I was gonna do another one earlier today, a press interview for the new Soderbergh horror film Presence. It's coming out. but they never sent me the screener that they told me I had like 2 hours. I had like a certain amount of hours to watch, and I was like, I haven't got it yet.
Wow.
And then I was told that the interview would be 4 minutes, and I was like, well, I haven't seen the movie, and I.
Say bye bye. Come on, man.
I just backed out. I was like, I didn't see the movie, and so.
So what do we got going on for news there, Mr.
So
News?
let's see here. Oh, Little Bites. Little Bites
first.
Yeah,
please.
real quick. The Little Bites. I just wanted to say is coming to Shudder, and we may have the writer director coming on Spider-1, so that's gonna be exciting.
Spider-1.
Yeah.
I remember the picture you got of him in my hat.
Yeah.
You know that
He's
is
so
Rob
bad.
Zombie's brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power Man 5000.
Oh, I forget. There's some songs on that album I love. My friends would just be like cranking it.
It looks cool. I just have a still here somewhere, and then we'll talk about something more important here. But this is from the movie Little Bites. Looks creepy.
Ew. Cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
That was proving you.
All right.
David
Here we go.
Lynch.
Yeah, huge, very sad news. Passing of David Lynch.
Yeah. One of the good ones.
The Twin Peaks there.
Damn fine
That's
cup
one
of
show I
coffee.
should probably watch. I've never watched it.
Oh,
No,
really?
Twin Peaks?
Yeah. No,
I watched it when I was in rehab.
Oh,
Physical
okay.
rehab.
Was that the first time you saw any of it?
Mhm.
Oh, shit. I was a child when that was on our home TV. I had Peak. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. But the movie is sad. The movie is upsetting. The Twin Peaks movie.
Fire Walk
Fire
with Me.
Walk with Me, because of Leland's character, who was redeemed in the show and then was unredeemed in the movie. And that really bothered
It's interesting. So Michael Epstein and I think we have really different views on Twin Peaks. I think all the Twin Peaks he really loves, I'm not a fan of, and the Twin Peaks that I'm a big fan of, he does not like, because he hates the movie. I really like the movie. He loves season 3. I hated season 3. So it's interesting.
I will say I haven't finished season 3 because it was a slog. It was hard, but the movie's great.
Yeah, I think
in my opinion, it's great.
Yeah, I agree. The first season's amazing, and parts of the second season are amazing. Some of it is really bad, I think. But the passing of David Lynch, very influential director.
Oh,
yeah, groundbreaking.
I love me
not
some
everybody
Blue
knows
Velvet.
it.
I love me some, some Eraserhead, and probably most of his movies, like around that time.
Mm-hmm.
I probably haven't seen a lot of more recent stuff. I know he made a bunch of shorts and some TV series that I haven't seen.
He did the weather report. Did you ever see his weather report?
No, never saw that.
It would just be him basically like, the weather is amazing in LA. That's pretty much it. And here us. Neil, I'm going to send you some pictures that will come up at appropriate times. Or maybe some of them are actually...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm very split on his movies. Some of the stuff I really like, some of it I don't. But I think that's, he's an artist, so he stuck to what he wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was very about his stuff. He'd get pissed off, I guess, with stuff like Twin Peaks, where it was a series and the money was so you have to behave to make money, right? You have to do things that they want you to do to make it as commercial as possible so it would appeal to a broader audience. He was not hot on a lot of that stuff.
That was not his thing.
No. I do have a lovely article. Do you mind? It is 10 delightful David Lynch stories. Would you be up for that?
Yeah.
They're short. Oh, that one in particular is pretty funny. So, all right. This is from, do you want me to pass these out, Neil, so it's not just me going on?
Sure. Yeah, you can do it in the private chat.
Are you up for that?
I'll just kind of follow along.
Okay. All right. So, do you want me to send the link of the private chat?
Sure.
Work? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get that, and I'll just start off until you get it. David Lynch, R.I.P. I don't know how old he was, but older.
I think he's early 70s, not super old.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe like 76 or 75.
It's a good life. Good.
I always had a smoke and a coffee working, so I always loved it.
Crazy. So speaking of coffee, all of David Lynch's projects are disturbing and brain scrambling to varying degrees. But in real life, tales about the director exude far more warmth as opposed to being unsettling. Did you know about his days as an amateur weatherman? Or how about the 20 cups of instant coffee he would drink daily? What a guy. If you're looking for some post-Twin Peaks The Return,
strange.
Right? Look no further than this collection of amusing David Lynch stories. Would you like to take number one, Mr. Jones?
Sure, because it's a show that I binge watched several years ago and is also a big fan of. He loves Mad Men so much, refuses to call the actors by their real names. Back when the AMC drama was still on TV, Lynch had the opportunity to meet Peggy Olson and Don Draper, or Elizabeth Moss and John Hamm, at a party. They're great characters, and whoever cast that show did a sensational job. It's great writing, great atmosphere, he said, refusing to acknowledge Moss and Hamm as separate entities. That's who they are to me. I called Peggy Peggy. Naturally, the duo didn't mind, according to Lynch. No, not a bit. I met them in Cologne, Germany, and my wife and I had drinks with Peggy in Paris. A few years later, Moss relayed her side of the story during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. From the very beginning of the drinks, he called us by our character names, Don and Peggy. It kept going, and we went with it, she explained. Then he emailed me afterwards and wrote, Dear Peggy, and finished it with, Give my love to Don. I agree with him on that. It's a great show.
So this one is specifically to the cow, if you want to throw up the cow there. He used a cow to campaign for Laura Dern's Inland Empire Oscar nomination. While it sadly proved to be unsuccessful, Lynch used an unconventional method to put Dern in the awards season spotlight for Inland Empire. He sat at the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and La Brea in Los Angeles for an entire day next to a live cow and a large poster of Dern. Should I try to? I'll try to do a Lynch. You know, there are a bunch of Academy members and all sorts of other awards activity going on out there, and people solve problems with money normally. Well, I don't have any money, he later told Wired. Honestly, I'm out there with a cow and meeting the greatest bunch of people. It was so beautiful, such a great day out with George the cow, beautiful piano music, meeting so many great people. There's this beautiful cow.
I dig it.
He did the ice bucket challenge with iced coffee.
Wow.
Ever the charitable fellow, Lynch accepted the ALS fundraising challenge from both Laura Dern and Justin Theroux in the summer of 2014, in which he played Somewhere Over the Rainbow on a trumpet and got soaked with iced coffee and regular ice water. He nominated Vladimir Putin to do it next.
Can you play that video?
No, probably not.
He was very, very sweet when he declined directorial duties for Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Wow, what a weird, that would have been a really weird take on the movie.
Yeah, might have been a better movie.
It might have been. It was still, I mean, it had heart in the soundtrack, so that was pretty sweet. All right. Before Cameron Crowe ultimately settled on Amy Heckerling to direct his seminal coming-of-age film, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the screenwriter, intrigued by Lynch's work in The Elephant Man and Eraserhead, odd to choose those as like...
Yeah, why would those two movies like, oh, this guy will be perfect for Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Just pretty much the same movie.
So, to that point, Intrigued by Lynch's work in The Elephant Man and Eraserhead initially offered him the gig, Lynch hadn't a damn clue why this would be a good idea. He had a very wry smile on his face as I sat talking with him. This isn't a quote. He went it and read it. We met again, Crow recently explained. He was very, very sweet about it, but slightly perplexed, we thought of him. He said, this was a really nice story, but it's not really the kind of thing that I do, but good luck. He got into the white VW Bug and drove off.
Those might be my favorite Lynch movies, the two of those. Those two great ones.
I agree.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm not a big fan of Eraserhead, but I love Elephant Man.
Yeah, Elephant Man.
I love Eraserhead.
Elephant Man and Blue Velvet would probably be my favorite.
Yeah.
My top three right there.
Lost Highway is pretty great.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
He spent many years unofficially reporting on the weather.
So cute.
If you were a lucky subscriber to Lynch's website in the mid to late 2000s, you would have been privy to occasional weather reports he recorded from his home.
I never knew.
Where he marveled about the muted golden sunshine or the sub-white clouds encompassing Los Angeles on any given day. It's a shame he stopped, but hey, the Twin Peaks revival was called.
I wonder if I can actually get... Tell me if you can hear it.
We used to have a couple weathermen on the show. We had,
what? What?
That's true.
We had Bob Elmore doing the weather.
Oh, could you hear it as I was playing it?
No.
Oh, shit. Oh, well.
And we had a kid from Troy School did the weather.
Adam Parks,
Nice.
Agent Horseshoe.
That's right, Horseshoe.
Very nice.
Yep.
Well, let's see. He used to drink 20 cups of instant coffee a day.
I probably drink that much, but not instant.
20
I
cups of
can't do instant coffee.
Jesus. The obsessive coffee consumer started knocking back cups of joe when he was a teenager, eventually reaching a point in adulthood where he would drink 20 large cups of instant coffee a day.
I was thinking like a cup because I drink like multiples of these a day.
Yeah.
Thinking, but large cups is probably so. No, I wouldn't drink 20 cups a day, but I do drink quite a bit of coffee a day.
I don't even drink 20 cups of liquid in a day.
Yeah.
Well, I try to. Well, I do drink. I drink.
Yeah,
I drink
but that's
constantly.
a
That's
lot
why
of fluid.
I drink constantly all day. That's why I have 2 cups whenever I'm doing the show.
I think at my most coffee, like probably 10 cups when I was working and everything. Because we'd go through a couple pots at work and then I'd have coffee at home. I'm probably 3 or 4 cups now. That's probably about it.
Is he still quite a substantial amount?
Yeah, that's true.
I do
It is
not
a lot.
drink coffee.
I think Neil and I get it from our grandmother, who would have coffee.
She drink
when
it from the
woke
morning
up.
till night.
Yeah, before she go to bed. Well, some people would have a glass of milk. She'd have a cup of coffee.
She drank. She drank coffee all day long.
Yeah.
Wow. So the 20 large cups of instant coffee a day, he'd since styled it down to about 7. In fact, the caffeinated bean is such an important part of Lynch's life that he was inspired to write all about it in a Huffington Post essay. Coffee became tied to what I call the art of life. I love to go to diners and drink coffee and to try to catch ideas for the work. Coffee has always seemed to facilitate thinking and catching ideas. Not only that, but the flavor of coffee is beyond good, he wrote. Even bad coffee is better than no coffee at all. The next one.
I used to think that part of, but not anymore. I'm very much a coffee snob, so that's be good coffee. But let's see, not instant coffee. I'm sorry.
No, I can't do the instant coffee either.
He pissed Mattel off with a coffee commercial. In 2011, Lynch began selling a legitimate and apparently quite tasty coffee line called David Lynch Signature Cup. He promoted the caffeinated beverage with a humorous video that showed a Barbie doll's head talking in the palm of his hand. As it turned out, Mattel didn't love seeing one of its products utter phrases like, "Is it organic?" and "Could I have some?" The company kindly asked Lynch to remove the video from the posted outlets. Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Yeah. Have a sense of humor, Mattel.
Right?
Yeah, I never saw Scott. I would have tried. Oh man, I think it was a limited edition one I got at Whole Food once. Remember?
You're
That was
absolutely right. Yeah.
that wasn't
Yep.
that long ago.
Yeah. So maybe they still had it going then, you know?
Yeah, it might have been a different company and just had a David Lynch line. I think like Pete's or
Oh,
something.
could be.
May I play? Go ahead. I was going to say, may I play? Hopefully, you'll hear it. David Lynch doing a weather report.
Sure.
Okay.
Good morning. It's December 16, 2022. And if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again. Here in LA, a cloudy morning. Quite a breeze blowing right now. 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 Celsius. Today I was thinking about the song The World Spins. And I believe it was mine and Angelo and Julie's favorite song we did together. I think it's from the year 1987, maybe 86, 87, somewhere in there. This afternoon, it'll be going up to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 20 Celsius. And it looks like partly cloudy all along the way. Everyone, have a great day.
He had a much different voice than I expected. I don't think I've ever heard it.
And he did it all the time.
That's
All
awesome.
the time. They're funny. They're cute.
Oh, yeah.
He loves eating quinoa so much he created a surrealist video all about it.
Nice.
So you too can experience the joys of quinoa. Quinoa is something that I like to have for dinner every chance I get, he explained before launching into a 20-minute tutorial. Watch the whole thing and you'll even get his recipe. Quinoa is actually pretty good, I gotta say.
I don't think I'm quite that passionate, but I like
No,
quinoa.
I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
He really
Not as
felt
good as couscous, but I like it.
Couscous is good.
He really felt the burn. While Lynch maintains an official Twitter account, he begins every tweet with "Dear Twitter friends." He's not an active user, mostly choosing to send out messages into the social media sphere when he wants to raise awareness for his foundation or other charitable causes. But in 2016, he got so jazzed up about Bernie Sanders running for president, he sent out a slew of tweets to excitedly voice his support.
Wow.
As he perhaps put it best here, "Yay, Bernie Sanders for president."
He is very good at... Are you putting up any of the picture things?
No, it's I'd have to save them all, and it's too.
Save them? Really?
That's how this works. Yeah, I'd have to save them and upload them and stuff.
Just ask a question. Lynch's sense of humor perhaps comes across in texting exchange with his longtime friend Naomi Watts about an afternoon meeting, which soon turns into a fake narrative about Twin Peaks: The Returns Jones family. "I'm all Janie E, and I will come when I want to," she texts Lynch. "Of course," he responds. "Geez, what was I thinking? Please don't be mad at me. Should I go up with Dougie to say goodnight to Sonny Jim?" Watt's cheeky insistence on bothering Lynch during his me time soon warrants a reprimand. "Dear sweet Janie E, I'm trying to meditate now. I'm sorry, darling, but this is sort of trying my patience. Stop it, bitch."
Damn.
Dang, spicy.
There we go. I don't know if that was so delightful.
So that's David Lynch.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of good memories and stuff. Like a lot of really good stuff.
So I guess we'll never get to season 4 of I hope we don't get season 4 of Twin Peaks, actually. Not be whatever I think of it. It's just I don't think someone else making it would be right.
No, I don't think. I'd like to think that no one's going to, that he's so unique as a
Yeah.
creator. I would like to think no one's gonna fuck with it. Who knows? AI is doing all kinds of crazy shit now.
I mean, like we're probably gonna get the new. I know we're gonna getting the new, zombie movie from Romero. So I mean, and
Wow.
I have friends who are involved, but it's still like it doesn't seem right to me.
Really?
So,
I
Yeah,
mean, you
that's
can be
weird.
involved, and it still sucks.
That's one of those things I'll always have respect for Harlan Ellison, because when he died, he had left in his will that his wife was going to destroy every bit of unfinished work that he had, so that nobody would just run in and start finishing shit and releasing it, because nobody needs that. It was like when Frank Herbert died, and like his stepson or his second cousin did like Dune, I don't know, Sand Messiah or something crazy. Like,
well, Robert Jordan made all of the Wheel of Time books.
Yeah.
I didn't read them, but I guess his son took over, I think.
Yeah, they weren't as good, but they were still kind of fun. They were pretty good. Better than the show. The show's all right. You watch the Amazon show.
I started watching it. It is okay.
It's all right.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yep.
It's good enough.
Yep.
I wonder what you would
Like-
think as a person who didn't know anything about the books at all.
Okay. Yeah, but you read a lot of Tolkien, so you.
Oh, I
there's
know.
not
about
really
that. I know
anything
about
in the in the Wheel of Time that he
Every
didn't kind of borrow.
friend in my
Yeah.
circle was reading. They were passing the books amongst themselves.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Time was in my world. For
I liked
sure.
about the first 4, and then they kind of lost me. I think Dune was the same way. Like the first 3, maybe 3 or 4, and then it was like, all right, that's enough of this shit.
I've never read Dune.
Wow.
And the Dragonlance books, that was like my circle of friends. They were, and I was like, yeah, they're okay. They read like a D&D module, but they're all right.
But they were. I remember having them. Did you read? I Strahd was a great book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Ravenloft book. Oh, it was so.
I think my favorite D&D ones though were Drist, the dark elf.
Oh yeah.
He's a really
Drow?
good character. Yeah, yeah. He's really good.
And
he's got like a Black Panther named Guinevere, so gotta love that shit.
And the swords.
Yeah, yeah. He had his 2 scimitars. He was a badass dude. I loved me some Drist. Like, forget who that was. It was
Drist
Salvatore.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Wow. Come way back. Way back.
The one I've been loving, though, we just discovered recently, and it's a weird. It started out as a Chinese web series because in certain parts of China that they don't like you to be gay, and so this guy had to like write his stuff, put it online, so he'd have like a couple of chapters every week or something, and so then they took this, they turned it into like a graphic novel, which is really good. Then they turned it into a Chinese series, which you can watch on Netflix, The Untamed. There's like 100 episodes. I think it started my love of like the whole Chinese drama stuff. It's awesome.
Interesting. Watch The Untamed.
But then we discovered on Crunchyroll that they have Mo Dao Zushi, which is the founder of Diabolism or Diabolism.
Whoa, Diabolism.
Diabolism, there we go.
Yeah.
And it's the same story. So these are all versions of the same story. And it's also about like 60 episodes. And we just started watching that a few days ago, but we've been binging them heavy. So we're up to like
beautiful
episode 20. And it looks so good.
Yeah, the art is beautiful. Wow.
So it's cool. It's a Japanese animation that they put to like the Chinese dialogue, and it works really well.
It's beautiful.
But the live action series is really good too. There's one where they try to do a practical effect, like giant dog monster that looks really goofy. But I'll give them props for doing a practical effect. Yeah, yeah. And like Neil says, like even a bad practical effect is better than like a bad
charm to
CG.
it.
Yeah.
But this thing looks like it's right out of the Muppet Show. I mean, like,
I
it
love
looks
them.
really big and lovable, you know? Like, it comes bounding in, you're like, oh my God, I just scratched that thing's belly. I wouldn't run away, you know?
So not a creature of fear.
No, but that's only one episode. The rest of it. And there's just more beautiful people in this series, like men, women, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a billion people or multiple billions of people. You can find people that are flawless. And they do.
All right, I'm curious.
So those are my two recommendations. If you want to do the live action, the Untamed, and then if you want to do the animated one, if you have Crunchyroll, check it out.
Is Crunchyroll a paid service or is it a free service?
No, it's a pay service, but it's worth it. It's so good. They've been doing the in Japan. They remade Rurouni Kenshin, and the new animation is just, it blows my little mind. It's worth it just for that.
Is Uzumaki all? I have not watched any of the episodes in ages. Is that wrapped up at this point?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
No.
There's so many different ones on there. Like if you do like anime, it's definitely worth it. I think it's like $6 a month or something like that. And they're just loaded. They have all the old Dragon Ball. They have Dragon Ball Z. They have, you name it, they have it. They have the Black Butler and the new series. They also redid the Black Butler, which I didn't really understand why, because it's only like maybe 12 years old, but it's really good.
As they can.
Yep.
As they can.
And Dragon Ball, though, I started watching like the original series.
Is it
I
good?
never realized Toriyama did so many
No shit.
little kids in that. There's a lot of new.
Oh, at first I thought you said Tori Amos. So I was like, no,
no.
music. And then I'm like, oh, something as a little kid. That's not her. It went from very cool to very creepy.
They're in there all the time.
Todd says animated Uzumaki was too rushed. The new one, Todd? The newest new one?
I've never seen
I
it.
know there was.
I don't believe. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it, but I never saw it.
Yeah. Oh, Todd says yes. That's no good. Oh well, I still gotta check it out. I love Junji Ito. He's my Shador.
Well, we're getting pretty late here, but I knew you wanted to talk about Neil Gaiman.
Oh yeah. So let me find. So I heard from one of the people I work with who was so disappointed in him. And I've got to be honest, I've heard about this guy since I was a teenager. And for whatever reason, I never read any of his stuff. And there was a little bit of shame on me for that because I felt like amongst my people, that was like what? So I never told anybody. It was a big secret about Neil Gaiman and not paying attention. Now let me see. Let me see over here. So is this the one? Let's see. Oh no! Continue reading. I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. So, I mean, I think probably most people who are here are aware that that he's been accused of misdoings with ladies, and you guys are both aware, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I don't really know anything about him. I've never read his books or anything.
Yeah. So let's see. So I don't have to read a whole article or read a whole story to hear about this and hear about it from the audience. And then yesterday morning, I read an article because someone had just told me this is this big thing. So I read it. And it was, I don't remember how many women, several women have come forward. None of them.
I
None.
got dog barking. I gotta go.
Oh yeah. None of them have said that he forced himself upon them. None of them. He is now destroyed everywhere, accused and destroyed. And I read part of it that said that he was there was actually one of the women was like, oh, well, he had me call him master, and then we were doing this stuff. And I'm like, this isn't.
It's not a crime.
Age. This isn't like people don't know what this is. Like once that whole 50 Shades of Grey came out, like forget it. It's over.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Everybody knows.
movies. Even this newest movie, Baby Dolls, or whatever, Baby Girls. A lot of it was about very similar things.
You'd have to be the most sheltered, no shade Amish, but you'd have to really be sheltered to not know anything about what that means. So if you have someone that we entertained, that's why they write it is, well, we entertained his ideas. Like we went along with it. Like, what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? I'm sorry. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Accused of having sexual interactions with people who did not say no and who were playing along. What the fuck? So basically what I'm seeing is any man who has sexual interaction at all, that after the fact we could say, well, I felt pressured. Well, I wasn't comfortable. Well, this. Now, I have been in relationships that were abusive. I've been in them. I get that. I'm not saying it's okay to screw. It's not okay. And if the guy is a kink dude, if the thing is master, and you start doing the stuff, say stop. Say, hey, maybe this isn't for me. Hey, this is not what I'm down with. Like, it feels, I don't know. Like there's no one is in the right or wrong as far as the law is concerned. It is hard for me to not feel that there is people perhaps wanting money. And as you know, people can wrongfully accuse others for their own personal gain. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious if you care to share. I know you're in a different position than me. Like I already thought about this going into this conversation. Like, well, maybe I'm now going to be blacklisted by people because this is the way I feel. Maybe. And I feel like you are on the spot, and many people, male, female, or otherwise, are on the spot because God forbid you would say what I just said. God forbid. I just read an article before the show of his friend of many years that on and on and on. And I think so people are, I think, either being opportunistic for fucking points or don't want guilt by association. It's like people now I think my assumptions are no better or worse than anyone's assumptions about any of this. So I could be wrong, but so could everybody else. So for me to say that I think that this could be not great. Now, if he did anything that was legit shady and shitty, of course not. Of course not. But women are not just universally innocent. They're not. I think I'm pretty decent, but I know women, and I've known shady women. I've known lovely women. Women are not just
they're people. Everyone's people. They're you know.
So, would you care to comment? If you feel uncomfortable,
well,
I understand.
Yeah, I'm not going to say a lot. I'll talk to you more off air if you want. But I did see people who even specifically said they didn't read the article and just damned him basically. And so I was curious, and so I read the articles, and I'm not going to talk about it here honestly because a lot of people have if they whatever they've said. I've seen that they are being blackballed. So yeah.
So I don't care. Fucking blackball me. I get that it's different for different people, and I understand that. But I'm sorry, but this is crazy. There's been no anything other than people just saying a thing. And like, I think about, you can fucking hate me if you want for saying Scarlet Letter, but that's the kind of thing that happened. There's something put out into the public that is this thing, and then this person is branded, and then what? Because there was some kind of thing that was understood as mutual by one of the people involved, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, wait a minute. And also from the point of a person who has been in abusive relationships, there are times where I can think there was someone who legitimately has taken, maybe more than one person, who has legitimately taken advantage of me. And I can look back and think that was really fucked up and wrong and not okay. There are also parts of some of those stories where I signed up for that. And when I look back with regret, humans look back with regret.
I completely agree with that. About if you regret doing something that you agreed to, I mean, it's not like a criminal act or maybe even a bad act. I don't know. I mean, I would like to know. I've read the article. I've read an article. I should look more into it before I say anything, I guess. But I do actually have opinions on it, and I don't want to talk about it.
I don't blame you. Effectively, these are BDSM experiences with him and these people. There's something about, it was in front of his child, his 5-year-old that was off to the side. 5-year-old. I mean, married couples are fucking around their children. Promise you that. Promise you.
Well, lots of people have had talked about walking in on their parents, and I understand that they would, but if it's someone very young, they probably don't even know what the hell's going on, anyways.
And they weren't like, from what I saw, they're not like he wasn't like, screw me in front of my 5-year-old. You know, it's not like I'm going to expose for some kind of weird fucking creep thing. I'm going to do this in front of my child for some kind of weird, get off on screwing in front of my kid.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Christ, people. This just seems like a big mess that most people are involved with for fucking social brownie points. I'm sorry. You can hate me, you can bar me, you can bash me, you can whatever. But this is, and I don't know, maybe he's guilty. Maybe he is. Maybe he's a terrible human. Maybe he's terrible. But for people to just show up and be like, I'm sorry. I've known people personally, in my personal life and in my professional life, because I do work with people who are in scenarios, and some people are guilty and some people are not. And for people to lose their lives because someone later on thinks that I didn't like that. There's fucking all kinds of shit in my life I didn't like. There's all kinds of things that I've done, sexual or otherwise, relationships or whatever, where I look back and go, well, maybe that wasn't so great. Fucking shit happens. You know what? It probably happens to men too. That's probably the truth. There's probably a lot of these things happen to men, but God forbid they can't say anything, because if you're a cis white male, straight white male, fuck off. Your feelings are not allowed. Your experiences are not allowed here. Forget it. You have nothing.
You can't speak back, and you can't even stand up for yourself in a situation like this. There's nothing. Fucking forget about it. You're done. Just consider your name trash. Go hide in a hole. The end. It's bullshit. I think it's fucking bullshit. It is bullshit. It's not even I think. It is bullshit. That's what I have to say about that.
All right.
So come at me. Come at me. Because it's bullshit. You can do whatever. I don't know what the motivation is. Are they, like, I see people are like, I have trauma from shit that I have done. Are other people guilty? Maybe. But there's many, many different, it's complicated. It's not a black and white. Oh, I'm a poor me. I'm a little girl. And as an adult, oh, I'm this innocent child who didn't know any better. Sorry. And if there's some, Neil is not the most, Neil Gaiman's not you, Neil. Neil Gaiman's not the most beautiful man on the planet. If he's got some girl that's going to hook up with him, fuck it. If it was me, I'm like, dude, some hot person is like down for like hanging out in a tub. I mean, they're just people. I know there are bad people. I know male, female, all the people. There are bad shit people who are legitimately predators. Maybe he is, but we don't know. And the idea of just saying any white male, cis white male, straight white male, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And I think that's super fucked up.
Yeah. All right. We're going to want to take off. We'll be back next week. Stay on here. I want to talk to you after the show. All right. Here we go.